mindset full of hip-hop, face the rhyme. Nah, I mean, you can damn near taste the rhyme. Shit. Fuck these niggas talk about God is out. Above all the doubt, you know who brought it out. All amounts to the fallen count from a starving mouth. Straight to the harvest ground, digging up the rawest sound. Hold and stand when I'm calling down, haters all around. Supreme gladiator in a hall of clowns, God don't need a crown. Rap is bargain style, getting dressy. Apparently you see the gowns. Meanwhile, someone is back to solidify the I and I higher mind. Water maritime, fire, water, time, fire, fire. Burning since the beginning, spinning through the sands of time. Nigga fan, bands, 10 grand just to stand in line. Weaving, retrieving while sleepers keep dreaming. Solar rays beaming, receiving frequencies they don't believe in. I've been itching for a reason, increasing beyond diseases. Deleting by secreting through the poison. Lead the fuck with your move, but these niggas gotta move. There's just not enough room. I'm bringing my God. I mean, fuck coming soon. It's been long overdue for the real and for the true. I'm bringing my God. For those who ain't attuned, I suggest you get in tune. If you ready for the truth, I'm bringing my God. Do what you gotta do. Great spirit coming through, ancestors coming through. I'm bringing my God. This everything you can't ignore. I kick the hinges off the door. Niggas full, I give you more. Burst the hook like good form. Category 7 storms that ain't never been performed. Can't say you ain't informed or ain't never been warned. We don't exceed every norm, every expert being torn by the old stay of swarm. Coast to coast, door to store. Mean the fuck with your move, but these I'll bring my God. I mean, fuck coming soon. It's been long overdue for the real and for the true. I'm bringing my God. For those who ain't attuned, I suggest you get in tune. If you ready for the truth, I'm bringing my God. Do what you gotta do. Great spirit coming through, ancestors coming through. I'm bringing my God. For all my niggas in the street that's been hustling to eat, ladies strolling on the beat, I'm bringing my God. My people trapped in a cell that's already in hell, being told they have failed. I'm bringing my God. To the babies that's confused in the cycle of abuse, you can't break out of the loop. I'm bringing my God. For those who were born ready, but studying something heavy and down the rock steady, I'm bringing my God. We gon' turn up the pressure, deliver you something fresher than ever. From the oppressors to the rightful successors, identified by the measure, no bullshit whatsoever. To God, no intercessor, communicating together, exposing the transgressors that rather you know never. Been thinking they so clever, pretending they know better, teaching you that you lesson, but this is their last semester. Retired these fake professors professing they bout to lecture. God's turf, God's earth, devil gets no dominion. Fact, fuck what you heard, learn informed as opinion. This division of religions is caused by politicians. By tradition, these conditions continue your submission. As they whitewash your brain till you perceive it's your decision. Infatuated by the light show that's fucking up your vision. Rhyme to the sight that you've been witnessing magicians, killing your intuition from giving you no nutrition. Praise God.
Yeah! My lyrics is crazy. They must be crazy. My lyrics is crazy. Chris is the pharaoh with bow and the arrow. We double the barrel, gorilla apparel, the mightiest barrel. Don't think of a battle. My lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting them at you, the actual factual front to the back of you, clapping and cracking, you packing them back for you. Look at them live at you, lyrics crazy. With me, you see what I'm teaching your mind. I am reaching with all that I'm teaching, that love and that peace, and it never will weaken. The truth I am speaking is crazy. Truth I am speaking, get used to repeating. The youth I am reaching with proof of this teaching. I speak for a reason, so they can believe in the truth of MC, and it's crazy. Cracking the back of these rappers, I'm passing these actors, I'm faster. Spitting metal, that's a ripping clubs forever. We becoming better, spreading love forever. Crazy. You hearing a pro, I'm spitting a flow that you know. Higher level thinking, I'll come to show. Knowledge of self is a thing you must know. You see what they playing, they steady betraying the culture we making, exploiting and taking. Look at making what we are creating. Now you mistaken what's real and what's faking. This ain't what do for the money they making. They sell out their people, their culture, their nation. Sell out their soul for a radio station so they can be playing in heavy rotation. You see what I'm saying? Our culture they taking, but that's not enough. It's our spirit they breaking, and only the culture can see what I'm saying, cause only the culture will see them betraying. You see what they playing, you see what they saying, and you cannot see us. Our people ain't slaying. Well, maybe you do, and then maybe you don't, and then maybe you will, and then maybe you won't. But it's our community that's losing hope with the greed and the crime, and the police are joking. The TV is playing that okey dope while our people are dying. You seeing them joke with that cheating and lying. You seeking to vote when they telling our people now this is they hope, but did anything change with the last vote? No. The time before that did we pass on? No. All we've been getting is chapter 11 while racists with weapons are shooting our reverence. A message from heaven with all that you get and get understanding, overstanding this lesson with all of the bling and the cash that you getting. You choking for sure. It's the poor you neglecting, the thieves and the liars. They all in your section. I'm bringing my people a different direction. Crazy. My lyrics is my sisters and brothers, it's obvious KRS ain't like these others. I've been up to bed while they under the covers. I spit off the head while they babble and stutter. Not 3 and not 2, but the 1 is my number. I'm spitting my written. I tour every summer. With every year I get younger and younger, but someone to doubt and continue to wonder. It's crazy. They continue to blunder. It's crazy. They continue to slumber. What I am teaching is what I'm expressing. I'm teaching the streets is the mind is a weapon. Like anything you can perceive in perception is what you will manifest all in your section. It's crazy. Set up your own direction. Crazy. Don't get caught up in complexion. Crazy. This is that reason I'm spitting and books getting written, cause you be forgetting it's crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy.
Peace and welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. I am Minister SIMONE. Welcome everybody. This week we're going to have a excellent reading of several of the divine performances. And don't y'all worry about everybody's entitled to their opinions. Trust me, SIMONE is like God. SIMONE is not for everybody. Especially the topics and the things that I invoke. It's just not for everybody. Neither is the teacher, KRS-ONE, clearly, because again, the things that we talk about are on higher levels, which really affect the beings of real people in real time. So this is what we do here at the Temple of Hip Hop. You better know what it is. And welcome our teacher, the master, blast master, KRS-ONE.
Bang! And so here we are with another week of the Temple of Hip Hop. Let me just adjust my camera here because you just put me on. I can see myself. Yeah, this is me right here. Let me get it out like that. I'm over here. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. So as you can see, I'm in a I'm gonna let this little bit of shine come here. I'm in a hotel. I'm like in a corner here because of the lighting and I wanted a plain background in the back. We're moving around. I'm in where am I? I'm in New Jersey. Here in New Jersey. And it's been a great week. A wonderful week. Let me read you guys some of the shout outs before we begin. Shout out to Miami, the whole Miami. I was at this place called The Joint last week, and it was amazing. Shout out to Legacy, Bobby Boucher, Hakeem. Everybody was just out of control. Huh?
SB.
Oh, SB, no doubt. SB got off.
Desire.
And all of that. Shout out to the whole Miami. Desire. You on fire. Desire was there as well, representing Desire One, and walked us over to the Graffiti Museum, which was actually pretty dope. Walked into the Graffiti Museum. It's a nice little presentation. If you're in Miami, go to the Graffiti Museum. Go over there and check that out. It's not a bad presentation at all in that way. So big up to the whole Miami. We had a great time in Miami, and shout out to the Graffiti Museum. Now, obviously, you guys have already heard. Those who haven't heard, maybe you heard, haven't heard, whatever. But of course, I accepted a versus battle with none other than the Big Daddy Kane, and I don't even know what else to say other than it's murder. And obviously I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but obviously this is going down October 17th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, right around my old neighborhood, right there, Flatbush, Atlantic Avenue, and all that type of stuff. We'll be home, basically. Me and Kane will probably be at home getting it in. Versus battle, October 17th. If you want to fly in, that's what the deal is. And so, from what I understand, it's 20 songs per artist, and about 90 minutes per song.
90 seconds.
90 seconds per song. And And that's it. It's supposed to be 20 songs. I already pulled 35. I already pulled my 35. Right. And let's see what we're going to get. So there it is. And shout out to everyone who's been part of the Temple of Hip Hop from the beginning, because this is where the teaching becomes real now, doesn't it? Today we're going to be talking about skills. And you see how the gospel just does us? Those who were studying with us last year, you remember every week we were studying, the gospel was right on time. And here we are at page 177 with perform skill. Now, before we get to that, let me just finish this up. Shout out to Lincoln University. Big up to Lincoln University. This last Wednesday, I was teaching a hip hop course there. And shout out to Lincoln, Professor Z, and Professor Sam, and everyone else that was there that helped us do that. It was a wonderful situation, nice, fiery lecture on hip hop, and to some kids that was haven't heard anything. They're just sitting down, fresh from whatever the radio told them, and they got their minds blown when we got through with them. It was crazy. So shout out to Lincoln University on that. So that's it for the shout outs and what went on last week and what's about to go on next week. Before I begin, also, let me also add, I have some notes here. And this really goes into what we're talking about today, actually. So let me just say this. Actually, before I actually begin, Son One, is there anything you'd like to add or say before we actually begin and I go full screen?
Yes, I'd just like to read this affirmation one time before we begin, because as every day, especially for us this week, and I mean every day, is something new that is confirming this affirmation, and literally every part of it. Like I've been having my day saying it because I know what's happening is the affirmation coming into actual reality. So let me just read this one time and we can continue with the lesson. I am not afraid. Today, I give myself permission to be all that I can be. New fields of divine activity now open for me. Unexpected doors fly open. Unexpected channels are now free. My mind is focused and directed toward my victory. I now create what I need with divine energy. Good things come to me easily, in peace, and at the right time. There it is.
There it is.
There it is. And let me just say, when driving away from the D Nice show, when driving away from the D Nice show,
I didn't shout out the D Nice show.
We did last week.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was in the notes. When driving away from the D Nice show, the direction that the GPS, God's Protective Services, sent me in brought me right by the Barclays Center. Now, mind you, I did not, or God's movement in situations, pushing and pulling, made it that I wasn't on stage with our teacher during the D Nice performance. And as I drove by the Barclays Center, I said, that's okay. I said, I wonder when I'm going to get back to this place. Because if those who know, we did the, I want to say it was the 25th anniversary of Yo MTV Raps at the Barclays Center. And of course, the D-Nice would have been hot. But I got brought right next to the Barclays and brought back all these memories. And I said, I swear on everything. I said, I wonder when I'm going to get back to this place. And when I tell you, it was in literally no time, teachers calling me up, telling me, we're going to the Barclays Center and we're going to do this battle with Kane. Y'all can take that for whatever you want to take it for, but I take it for this affirmation I just read. Coming into reality. The things that are good things, or that I now create what I need with divine energy. It even goes with what I want. I would say, or the God is real and really interacting. And again, me and teacher spoke just a second ago, said, yes, everybody very shortly will realize you may want to hold this very tight, close, and dear to your heart and take this extremely seriously. All I can do is just keep telling you how it's happening for me. Keep saying how it's happening for him, his family, because we take this seriously, or very like this is our gospel, which we live by, and it's real. So I could continue for like 8 hours on that, but I'll let the teacher commence to teaching the class.
Interesting perspective. Interesting perspective, because sometimes, this is a whole different lesson. I'm listening to you and I'm saying, it's a whole different lesson about sometimes you wind up at your future and you don't even know it. So many times I've driven past blocks and it's like, why am I on this block? Got lost, got twisted, turned around, and then like 3 months later, that's why I bought my house or rented a house there. Or why am I on this block? I look at a club, I say, wow, that club is dope. Wow, that's interesting, but that's not where I'm going. 3 months later, you at the very club, and you remember, I was already here.
Right.
I was already here. Something was already trying to communicate with me, saying you're gonna be here, or you're gonna be there, or whatever it is. Let me also add to that. There's a piece in the Gospel of Hip Hop. We'll get to it in the TEACHA section of the Gospel, which talks about the role of the teacher. And the role of the teacher, as far as the hip hop teacher is concerned, is to make hip hop real for the apprentice. Mm-hmm. And we should never forget that forever. I mean, those who are to come after us as a temple, we should never forget that the role is not just to teach, like we're reading our gospel and we're having commentary on it and getting understanding. That is a deep part of teaching. But there's another part that has to do with the walk. And that's why we are not just students, we are also apprentices. And what's so interesting is that much of what's going on right now, we can't talk about in this public forum like this. And some of what you, Son One, was pointing out to everyone, you're saying cling to your gospel. And rightfully so. People might be looking at you like you're crazy right now, but you can't. We are right now we're being private because some very magnificent things are going on right now. And I'm not talking about no versus battle. That's small. That'll be 1, 2, 3. Okay. But what we're talking about in terms of what the Temple of Hip Hop is all about What does your membership mean? What does the teacher mean? What does it mean to have a membership with the Temple of Hip Hop? And it's funny you mentioned that, because this was the piece that I was going to start out with about walking with the teacher. You had mentioned, you know, you was on your way to Prospect Park, the D-Nice thing, got turned around, you wind up at the Barclays Center. Last time you was at the Barclays Center, it was the VH1.
No, Yo MTV Rap.
Yo MTV Raps deal. Okay, that was the last time you was there. So look at that sensitively, that something is like, and to learn how to read that. That's the other part. To learn how to read it. So it's like you get lost. Somebody else could be like, man, I'm lost. You know, you get lost. You're like, man, what am I doing? You know, you get aggravated. You know. But if you walk a certain path, you know that you can never be really lost, because you're guided. God's the GPS, God protective services, or guiding. Or right, that's GOD, guiding our direction. But that guidance that's on your life, to learn how to read it, that's a reading exercise. Like, that's going to happen to you again.
Right. Yes,
you know, you're going to get lost, get turned around, and feel like, no, what is this? And wind up somewhere. And then you might want to take notes on it. And for those listening to us as well, this is something that, because some of us may be experiencing the same thing. Like, we was already at the place that we were going to eventually be at, but we didn't know. We wound up there, and we say, why am I here? And that's when you have to ask the question, you know, try to memorize what's going on. When you say, why am I here? How did I get here? You know, like, why am I here? How did I get to this block? Then in a spiritual sense, you should write that down. I'm on block 33 with off the head, and maybe in the future, you may have to go back to those notes and say, right, something was trying to tell me something, you know, and so on. Yeah, and that's just a small.
See, right. Well, what's wild about what you're saying is I did take pictures of the block in order to figure out how to get back or whatever, because I had to go park. And so I took a picture of, so I do have a picture of the block that I got put on first. But to me, it was also the fact that it's like, no, or an average, I would even say rapper, or maybe even an average student, if they didn't get on the stage, they would have been butthurt and feelings all down.
Well, that happens all the time.
Right. That's right. But no, me, I was like, everything that went through my mind was, for one, Blastmaster doesn't need you on the stage. He can handle it. Shit, all by himself. It's okay. Two, you've already been up there 50,000 times. Everything is okay. Three, you're really here to assist the teacher. And that's what it was. And then what was funny about that, because I thought about that before even going in, as Simone was trying to get me in, that no, right after that, with me saying that to myself, and then you said, set up the meeting. We're going to go to the restaurant and have this meeting real quick. Do that. I was like, right. That's what I'm here to do. Set this meeting up, go there, make sure everything's right. We got our table. We good to go. And not to mention me thinking or back in time when you had said to me on the phone, you might not perform at the D-Nice. You may just come and watch it. All of that, or my mind keeps those certain things, or when you just say stuff like that, it sends off a signal in my brain that says, prepare yourself now. So you aren't getting your feelings hurt and this, that, and the third. And just go through it, or God is bringing you through it. And so all of that transpires. And then I'm driving, literally thinking about it. And I'm like, it's okay. and then there's the Barclays Center, and I'm like, oh yeah, what are we gonna get back to that? So to me, it was like, was the "it's okay" me saying it's okay, or was God saying it's okay? Look, as far as trying to read it, like you just said, it was like, no. The second I said in my head, "It's okay," the Barclays Center was sitting right in front of me. Um, so that's the lesson I'm taking in for me, and it's great because I do have documentation of it all.
And what a hard lesson. What a hard lesson, because people can't take it. We just had, without calling any names, we just had an experience on another stage where we said, no pictures. We're going to walk in and we're not going to take pictures and we're not going to get googly eyed and we're not going to, and then of course Rakim walked by and everybody broke down. And it was, but you see, these are interesting lessons that they're a bit out of context if you haven't walked with me. You can hear, of course, we can hear what we're saying, but there's another seasoning and a color to it when you're actually in the situation and you have to decide, why am I here? Am I here just to get on stage? Am I here to take a photo? Am I here to get what I can get, or am I really here to assist? And again, you brought me to the beginning of this this speak right here, which really, I'm just going to read this piece right here. It says, as a member of the Temple of Hip Hop, how are you assisting hip hop? And I just want to start right here. As a member of the Temple of Hip Hop, how are you assisting hip hop? And what was interesting about what you just said was, right, that was a little gut check right there, because you say, you have to question, what am I here for? Mm-hmm. What am I really here for? And okay, I'm here to assist the teacher. That's what I'm here for. And then, of course, right, you was there to get what I really needed was that. Because the show went, boop, again, 1, 2, 3, shit, over. But what we really needed was a dinner. We was walking with the chief of staff for Newark, New Jersey, for the mayor's office. We was rolling with my dude Amir. So he was like, yo, we trying to talk this up and let's get over here. So, and of course you coordinated that whole thing and it was dope. So after the show, we was able to run over and have this little dinner and talk up some plans. And so I asked everyone here before, at the top of our lesson, are you sure what it means to be a member of the Temple of Hip Hop? Are you really sure about what it means to be a member of the Temple of Hip Hop? Most of the people, and I'm gonna say most, maybe half of the people on this call are just listening to me, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing wrong with that. But you're on the surface. If you're just listening to me, if it's just a matter of, like, this is even closer to entertainment or edutainment, then fine. That's what it is for you. But I'm speaking to those who are seriously considering becoming members of the Temple of Hip Hop, or you are a serious member of the Temple of Hip Hop. I'm going to start here because the lessons that we're reading from today has to do with the character of the attuned hip hopper. So these questions are, as a member of the Temple of Hip Hop, how are you pushing hip hop forward? How are you really pushing hip hop forward? As a member of the Temple of Hip Hop, you are called to preserve and further develop hip hop wherever you are. And how are you doing this in your individual life? Are you hip hop only when you hear music? Are you hip hop only when it's convenient for you, when it's time to get something, you become hip hop if you need to be? Is hip hop your real culture, or you have a real culture and you're using hip hop to fortify that? These are the respectful questions that are to be asked are you serious about the temple of hip hop? Not just are you serious about hip hop, but are you serious about the temple of hip hop? Because last year we jumped on a winter solstice and we said we were rising with the sun. When we return around to that winter solstice again, we would have completed a 1 year, 365 day point something year, or 364 point something year, we would have went a full circle. What will be the result of us walking with the universe? What will be the result of us in harmony with the universe? And of course, these are trick questions because I can't explain everything here. We're doing big things, and one of which was to talk to the city of Newark, New Jersey. Why? Because there are other cities that are important to hip hop than New York. New York, of course, is the central place, the Bronx being the home of hip hop, or the recognized home of hip hop. But there were other cities that were just as important to the development of hip hop as New York was. One of which was Philadelphia. Philly is huge for hip hop, huge for hip hop. Another of which was Chicago. Another of which was obviously LA, Atlanta, but Newark, New Jersey as well. We call it Brick City. This is Naughty by Nature with Hip Hop Hooray, hip hop's actual national anthem, or one of them. Hip Hop Hooray, Naughty by Nature, Brick City, Newark. Queen Latifah, matter of fact, the whole flavor unit, really. Brick City. Look at the contributions this one group laid down for hip hop. For hip hop as culture. For hip hop as culture. So when you're looking at the scholarship, you're looking at not just what the radio or mainstream media says about your culture. You really know your culture and you know where it's at. So we as a temple, we're looking at Philly, we're looking at Chicago, we're looking at LA, we're looking at Atlanta. These are the major hubs. We're looking at New York. And one thing we are looking at is that we're looking to establish our temple and, of course, the city of hip hop, what we call hip-hopia or little hip hop. We are looking to establish that somewhere near New York. I wanted to go all the way to the West Coast, and we might still do that. Because they have desert land and nobody's out there, and you can really start building something, hip hop city out there. We talked about this too. We had a full a lesson on this many months ago. Many of you will remember we had a lesson on buying towns, and we were looking at hip hop as a city and where we could actually go to do that, and what it will take, and what it will actually take. We went over that. Go back and listen to the lessons. Those who haven't heard what it is I'm saying, go back, find that lesson, and view that. But when we gave that lesson, we went on to complete that goal. And this is also why I asked you, as a member of the Temple of Hip Hop, how serious are you about the Temple of Hip Hop and its agenda? The Temple of Hip Hop is all about establishing a hip hop city. It's not our only agenda, but it's the first major one that we have to tackle in order to preserve and further develop hip hop. We need our own space. Hip hop needs its own space. So we're looking to build little hip hop, just like a Chinatown or a little Italy or a little Greek. In Flatbush they got like a little Caribbean. They got a whole Caribbean section, and it's like these little places where the whole city can go to enjoy one culture at its best. And cities do it all the time. So we're going around. We're talking to New York. We're talking to Newark. We're talking to Virginia, actually Richmond, Virginia. I've been talking to Las Vegas and to others in LA, but I haven't been in LA since the pandemic. Since that, and a lot of dudes are not in office anymore. The clubs have changed. Things are different on the West Coast now. I've been on the East Coast, and I've been doing my work on the East Coast. So you know, we're talking to these various entities. Philly. We mentioned Pennsylvania, not the city of Philadelphia. Lincoln University wants to expand its hip hop course there as well. That was another reason why I was there as well. But they're looking to expand their hip hop course, and they got some money to actually do that, to create like a hip hop school and campus over there. We're over there advising them as well. So I say this to say that to go over the agenda of the Temple of Hip Hop before we begin, that you're clear about what this is all about. We're looking to establish our temple, an actual building that will house our exhibit, really our ministry, archive, school, and society. And so we need an actual building, but we don't want a building just, I could go purchase a building. That's not a problem. But you have to have city support. You got to have educational support. You got to have a surrounding support of the community. It got to be a place. It got to be a building that you can build from. And really, the Temple of Hip Hop should be in Hip Hopia. So wherever we build from, wherever our temple is, we should be able to influence the community to become a hip hop city unto itself, or a hip hop district, I should say, unto itself. These are the discussions that we are having with city officials, with tourism boards, with education, with the police, with sanitation. We're going around and we're having these conversations. Some are Skype calls, some are in person. Like I was just in New Jersey in person, meeting with a few people as well to try to get this off. That's what we're doing. That's what's happening. So you got to ask yourself, what are you doing to help make that happen? And I can show you how you can help. First of all, you should ask yourself. We'll get into how you can help, but I'm going down the list now in terms of how serious are you about the Temple of Hip Hop. You'll see how you can help within this. The question then is, where is your shrine or altar or exhibit presenting hip hop in your home or office? Anyone serious about the Temple of Hip Hop should have their own little corner for the celebration of hip hop. Clip out newspaper article, clip out magazine, find your old hip hop stuff and start to treat it with respect. Make a section of your house, make a wall or something, any section of your house. Build your own hip hop museum right there in your house. A little exhibit right there in your house. That's a serious member of the Temple of Hip Hop. And let me show you why that's serious, because not only is it serious from an internal intent point of view, but from a spiritual point of view, from a metaphysical point of view. The more minds that see our exhibit brings it into fruition, and in a strong way. This is the true meaning of masterminding. When a bunch of minds get together and see the same vision and start moving toward that one vision, many little minds become one mastermind. Well, if you're a serious member of the Temple of Hip Hop, in a way, you are masterminding with us. You're masterminding with others who feel the same way about hip hop, that it should be preserved, that it is beyond music, that it is a culture, that our children can live and eat and learn through this, that we can actually feel God through this, feel our ancestors through this. We have a morality and an ethics through this. Those that feel this way are part of the Temple of Hip Hop. And it's that intent, that character, that has you taking hip hop seriously, not just when KRS comes around, but when nobody is around. Who's repping hip hop? You are. You are. When you're at your office, you repping hip hop. When you're home, when you're at church, when you're whatever, you repping hip hop. Your friends should know you rep hip hop. How serious are you about your role with the Temple of Hip Hop? Don't just sit there and watch us expand and you not be part of that expansion. So the Temple of Hip Hop has a 2020, or is building a 2023 hip hop exhibit. And this is the way in which you could really get involved. Start gathering hip hop memorabilia that you already have. Build your own shrine to hip hop. Build your own exhibit for hip hop. Take a photo of it and send it in to us. We're looking for ideas also. I have my own ideas, you know that. But that's not what this is about. This is about community. It's about culture. It's not about one mind. It's about many minds coming together for the mastermind. How can we see the results of your mind? How can we see that? Do your own shrine. Take a photo of it. Send it in to us. And on top of that, let me just say, our 2023 hip hop exhibit is obviously in celebration of hip hop's first 50th birthday. 1973 to 2023 is 50 years of hip hop. 50 years of hip hop. And hip hop turns 50. And so we're doing a 50-year exhibit, obviously, from day one all the way up to day 50 or year 50. And so we, the Temple of Hip Hop, are looking at artists. I had a conversation with Sun One actually the other day about artists. We're gathering artists, those who could draw, and not just graffiti writers, but artists of all sorts, those who do oil painting, chalk, pencil, artists. We're looking for sculptors, people who make busts, like, busts of famous people, statues, bronze busts, and ceramic and all that stuff. We're looking for sculptors as well. We're paying too, by the way. We have a budget for this. For every piece, artists, sculptors, carpenters, carpenters. If any of you listening to us right now know a carpenter or is a carpenter, someone that can make chairs and tables, beautify homes, like that. We need carpenters. If anyone wants to donate their services, come forward, but we're paying. We just need good work. And of course, any memorabilia, knowledge, any old magazines, or if some of you have turntables you could donate, or we could purchase them from you. Either or, this is the activity of the temple right now. This is the activity of it. We're building our exhibit. We're having discussions about hip hop as a city. You too can have discussions where you are about a small hip hop town. Get some confidence in yourself, see the vision, and go to City Hall and lay down a proposal for a small section of your town or your city to have a hip hop district or section. Especially during election time. You can get whatever you want. Now people getting elected. And of course, I'm not dissing any politicians, of course, that I'm talking to. But let's keep it really real. They want to get reelected. Now's the time to start talking. Hip hop city then. Hip hop institutions then. Last on this membership piece, and if you are serious about hip hop, there's our membership. $100 per person per month. That's our membership. Those who are serious about the Temple of Hip Hop, you donate $100 a month, $25 a week. That's like $3 and something a day. They tell you that the commercials, only $1 a day. Well, the Temple of Hip Hop, only $3 and some change a day, $25 a week. If this is important to you, if this is serious to you, $25 a week, $100 for the month, $1,200 for the year. If this is important. If this is important. And of course, I don't say it like that. Like, you know, so if you don't send no money, it's not important. No, we ain't saying that. What we're saying is put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your real intent is. Become a real card-carrying member of the Temple of Hip Hop. Send in that $100. Be wow, what a number too. $3.33 a day. Is the temple worth that much to you? If it's not, if what I'm telling you this day is not worth $3, then, you know, I mean, let's start questioning the membership right now. Let's start questioning the value of what you're actually getting. So, of course, I say this jokingly, but I say it seriously. And I say it jokingly because obviously, like, you know, within the gospel of hip hop, we don't take donations. At times we do, where it is appropriate, we'll take up a donation. And it's usually on some spiritual reciprocation kind of thing we're doing, where you got to give to get. So give to a good cause. You can give to us. Or people say, we want to donate to the Temple of Hip Hop because we appreciate what you're doing. People have done this in the past. We'll take the donation, this kind of stuff. But we don't really take donations. We work for hours. We work for hours. The teaching of the gospel of hip hop is that the mastery of your element is where you get your money from. The mastery of your element is where you get your money from. You can't teach any of this. You can't teach any of this until you've mastered it. And when you've mastered it, then you get money because you're a master in it. You're going to get your money now. So real teachers of hip hop are not struggling for money. Now, of course, we do get broke, no doubt. I'm famous for spending all my money, okay, on good stuff too. But then you get low on cash. Everybody get low on money. And you got to enjoy the poverty too. Enjoy that too. Enjoy restraint and conservatism. Enjoy that. Enjoy not having what you want and what you need. Enjoy that. Because on a deeper level, that's how hip hop started as well. Just like that. Us not having what we needed, we improvised and made something else. Enjoy your poverty. Don't just sit there, that's not hip hop. We were born in poverty. We enjoyed our poverty so much that we turned our poverty into $1 billion culture. So how can you teach $1 billion culture and you yourself don't have $1 billion? That's the problem with the teaching of hip hop today. All these poor teachers are teaching $1 billion culture? No. It don't work like that. The Temple of Hip Hop don't even work like that. So just note right up at the top, we provide for our temple. We pay our money that we work for to provide for the temple and all the agendas that the Temple of Hip Hop is about. That's why I am the founder of the Temple of Hip Hop, because I can afford it. But it ain't about me. This is a temple for hip hop that will outlive me. This is a temple for hip hop, not a temple for KRS-ONE. This is not the temple of KRS-ONE. This is the temple of hip hop. And so I come with my resources to the temple. I come with my expertise, my reputation, my skill, my money, my time, everything. I come to the temple with that. And the temple enjoys my everything I just said. So you ask yourself, if you real with the Temple of Hip Hop, so obviously we got $1,200 from you then, right? Obviously you putting down that 100 because you know we rising. You know this ain't no fake whatever it is, okay? You know we ain't here trying to grab nobody money. We don't need it. But if we all here together, if we gonna rise together, I'm giving you an opportunity to invest in something that's going somewhere. Straight up. And it's up to you. It's all voluntary, no obligation. You know, money back guarantee. no obligation. Okay, we're gonna do this, but you can be part of this. I mean, in all the other ways as well. But this last money part, this piece that I'm talking about here, you can be part of this by sending in your $100 to the Temple of Hip Hop, and feel no way about it. Send your 100. I'm not no, minister telling you, what is it? I got a prayer cloth or something. And I'm not dissing. I'm not. Let me stop. I'm not dissing. All I'm saying is I'm making a distinction, okay, between this teacher and all others, okay? I'm not saying I'm rich and all that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying God takes care of her own. That's what I'm saying. I am living proof of it. God will take care of you. You take care of God, God takes care of you. You take care of the universe takes care of you. You give love, you get love. You give money, you get money. And so these laws are real. They're real. The question is, how real are you? That's the question. How real are you with these laws? And now here comes a temple for hip hop, looking to preserve hip hop, working under the divine guidance of the supreme intelligence of the universe. If that's not enough, if that's not worth $3.33 a day, or $25 a week, or $100 a month, or $1,200 for the year, then we bless you. And this service is free to you. We are not asking you for nothing other than your attention. Pay attention. That's all. Pay only attention, because this is the service that we are giving, and we are proud of it, and it will continue. But you can invest. We leave the door open for you to invest and say, I put money down for the Temple of Hip Hop to be what it is. I put money down, even for KRS-ONE to continue talking like this, because you know I'm independent. I don't succumb to no corporations and sorry. This is it. My corporation is the Temple of Hip Hop, and it's not a corporation. But that's my whatever you want to call it. This is the work we doing here. So I pay for myself. My friends, they support me as well. You know, I get donations all the time. People like my work, and they give me donations and all the time. Even people on the street, they walk and give me $50. It was crazy. I ain't even gonna give it to whatever. But people give me money. I'm a teacher, no doubt. And I will take that money. I will take that. If you got something to give me, I will take it. But I'm not sitting here telling you got to give me money or give the temple money or give anybody working with the temple money. No, we ain't. The first rule we teach is, have you mastered your craft? And if you've mastered your craft, then you getting money. So we don't need to come here begging our people for their money. But don't let this opportunity pass you by. Don't let it pass you by. And your children later on, now the temple's huge and the city is built. And now we're looking back at that first group that put that first 100 down. It's up to you. So this is the Temple of Hip Hop, and this is what it means to be a member of the Temple of Hip Hop, and that's what I wanted to get out with our first hour. I just wanted to get that off, and make that clear, so that we know what we're doing and why we're doing it, and there it is. Okay, so and by the way, the song you heard, when we first started, those who were here from the beginning, you saw Sun One's latest video called I'm Bringing My God, which was hot, getting a nice response online for that video. Big up to you, Minister Sun One. After that, Sun One premiered the song Crazy. One of my newest songs. We did it. I did it for a short film called Save the Studio, It's a short film about a guy losing his studio, and I go in to help him by recording these songs for him. And so one of the songs is called Crazy, but it's so timely because also with the battle coming up and a lot of other little innuendos that I'm hearing online as well, I felt it timely to just drop this joint right now. I may even play it again at our break for those that weren't at the beginning. You hear it again at the break. Actually, Son One, you may want to get that prepared just for the break as well. The first break we take. We'll play the song again for those that weren't there at the beginning. But I put this out. It's called Crazy, and there's a couple of other songs as well that I'm going to drop from this particular movie soundtrack. But I felt as though this was appropriate to drop right now, and that was the name of that song. It's called Crazy with a K. K-R-A-Z-Y. Crazy. My lyrics is crazy, and they are. So now turn your gospels. Turn your gospel to page 186. I'm sorry, 177. We're going to read to 186. Turn your gospels to page 177, and we are going to be reading the 12th performance, which is perform skill. And like I said, in lieu of all that's going on this week, okay, in light of all this what's going on this week, the gospel would say perform skill. This is crazy, but not really. It is actually divine timing. And I want to point this out to you so that you can see it in real time. Take it for whatever it's worth. Some people say, y'all just trying to make it into something, but you just trying, whatever. But the spiritual path is all about your perception. And if you can't see the signs, see the symbols, see the wonders going on in your own life, it's going to be difficult to learn on this kind of path. It's going to be difficult because you really don't believe. You really don't believe. You don't perceive. You don't perceive, so you can't believe. And so here we are with perform skill. And for me, this versus battle being announced this week. Okay, this is the week, and this is the lesson, or at least the beginning of this lesson. I'm going to be reading all the way through perform skill, perform intelligence, perform communication, perform responsibility, and perform action. We're going to read all 5 of these performances right now. With a break in between. They all signify one character. This is the winning character. This is what I would call this section. This is the winning character. This is what brings health, love, awareness, and much wealth to you. And this is what I practice. This is what I study. Like I tell you, I'm not one of these teachers that are sitting here telling you something that I don't do, or telling you something that I have not experienced or am not experiencing. I'm experiencing everything I'm teaching right here, and it is wonderful and magnificent. If your teacher is not on the top of the hip-hop world at this very moment, turn me off and tell me I'm a liar. Tell me you're a fraud, Chris, and you're full of ego, and you're arrogant, and you're this and you're that. Say it right now and turn me off, because I am not a service to you at all. Okay, let's be real with that. But if at this very moment, I'm not the greatest MC of all time, if not at this very moment, if I'm not smashing parties, if I'm not doing the lectures, if I'm not opening the minds at this very moment, then why are you going to front on yourself if this is what's actually going down? If the greatest MC of all time is teaching you right now, why are you doubting yourself and who you are and the proximity that you have to this beast called KRS-ONE? No, you're part of something special, and it's called the Temple of Hip Hop. And I'm not just mouthing off. When it comes to hip hop, we reign supreme. And I'm about to show Kane that at the Barclays Center as well. So now turn your gospels now to page 177 as we now begin to read perform skill. perform skill. Because the hip hopper is independent and self-sufficient in the world, perfection of a chosen skill that is in demand gives the hip hopper a lifestyle that supports the seeking of her purpose in peace. As with the performance of discipline, seek the perfection of your chosen skill. Practice perfecting your skills. Rappers talk too much shit, but can't back it up with lyric. Build your skills. Most people want many things for themselves. Some have dreams and goals they wish to achieve for themselves, but they just continue to admire the achievements of others because they simply have not mastered the skills needed to manifest their own dreams and goals. All goals require skill mastery to be achieved. This is a highlight. Number 2, the whole paragraph of number 2 is highlight. Highlight paragraph number 2. The most important questions a hip hopper can ask when daydreaming, visualizing, praying, and or wishing for things and desirable situations are: 1, what am I actually capable of doing? 2, what can I really accomplish? 3, what have I mastered? And 4, what are my skills? Look at this, okay? Look at it. These are the 4 questions you got to ask yourself. You being real with yourself about your dreams, about your goals, about where you want to be in life, about your visualization. If you're serious about yourself, here's the questions you ask. What am I actually capable of doing? What can I do? Not what I need, what can I do? Not what do I need to go get? No, what can I do? From this chair right here, what can I do? And then what can I really accomplish? What can I really accomplish? What do I know that I can really accomplish? I can wash dishes. I know I can accomplish that. I can mop a floor. I can watch kids. I can walk your dog. These are accomplishments. These are things you know and I'm mentioning this because some people say, I can't do nothing. You can lift a box, can't you? Yes, then you can do something. That's what you can do. With lifting a box, that ain't nothing. You'd be surprised. Lifting a box in the right environment can get you the cash you're looking for or move you closer to your dreams. Don't belittle yourself. Ask yourself, even down to the smallest thing, what can I do? What am I able to do? Not what I need to get, who's going to give me, where I need to go. What can I do? I can talk. I can dance. I can, and go down the line. There's something that you can do right now that you can do, and you know you can accomplish it. So what am I actually capable of doing? What can I really accomplish? What have I mastered? And what are my skills? What have I mastered? It makes no sense to dream about something that you have not mastered. Whatever you're dreaming about, you should now put yourself in a position to go master it, become perfect at it. Highlight the whole number 2. Okay, that's the whole number 2 gets highlighted. And go back and ask yourself, it's even an affirmation. What am I actually capable of doing? What can I really accomplish? What have I mastered? And what are my skills? Those without a perfected skill that is in demand will find it difficult to lead an inner city spiritual life. Having a skill that is in demand is what separates the one who is chasing resources and opportunity from the one who is chased by resources and opportunity. Highlight number 4. The whole paragraph number 4 gets highlighted. Attuned hip hoppers are experienced in hip hop's 9 elements, and we are experts at 2 or more of hip hop's artistic elements. We seek to sharpen our skills in every phase of life that requires skill. Let me say it again. This is a very important line. So, and again, when we outline lines, this is explanations. So when people ask you, what's the Temple of Hip Hop about? What is your lesson plan about? What is the gospel of hip hop about? What does it mean to be a hip hopper? What do you mean a tuned hip hopper? What makes you a scholar? All them questions, bring it right here to number 4. Attuned hip hoppers are experienced in hip hop's 9 elements, not 4, not 5, not 6, 9. Okay, attuned hip hoppers are experienced in hip hop's 9 elements, and we are experts at 2 or more of hip hop's artistic elements. We seek to sharpen our skills in every phase of life that requires skill. This is when you walk in the path. Paragraph 5, I'm at the end of page 77. In parenting, in teaching, in nurturing, and notice each of these that I'm mentioning. These all require skill. In parenting, in teaching, in nurturing, in apologizing, in loving, in playing, in fighting, in speaking, in cooking, in working, in cleaning, in eating, and with all the elements of hip hop and with all of the performances of the divine performance, perform with skill. Seek to be an expert at all that you do. Do nothing haphazardly. When performing your skill, you must be conscious of how skillful you are. Attuned hip hoppers who perform the divine performance learn that each performance requires spiritual skill. I want to take you back up here to this part here, paragraph 5, the end of it that says, perform with skill. Seek to be an expert at all that you do. Do nothing haphazardly. This is a big problem with America right now. Employees and people who work jobs doing things haphazardly. I see it all the time. They don't respect their job. Some are just immature, but most don't even want to be there. They just there for the money. They just there. You're never going to make it like this. And I'm saying this in hypothetical. If this is you, let me talk to you straight up. Okay, if this is you working at a job and you don't like the job, so you put half into it, you're wasting your time. You need to just quit and go be brave and courageous and do what you know you want to do. Follow your life purpose. You have to have courage, though. Follow your life purpose. But if you at a job, I see it all the time. You walk inside a place and the person don't know you, you don't know them. Matter of fact, I give you a real-time example. So they were in Whole Foods. And I walk into Whole Foods. And so we were early. They were just setting out the food. But they had a bunch of food out at this station just sitting there. And the women had to put the cards in front of it. So there's 2 women sitting there. And I'm standing there waiting. So I jump on after them. We sitting there waiting. 15 minutes, 10 minutes go by. Coming up on the 15, I'm saying, yo, what are we standing here for? So I go over to one of these women. I say, yo, what is the holdup? What is happening? She says, well, she didn't say nothing. She called some other woman that came over with some cards to put in front of the thing. The bottom line is these women never addressed us. They never said, welcome to Whole Foods. The food will be ready in a minute. I just got to get some cards. Why don't you taste this cheese while you wait? This is customer service. You see customers standing there waiting. We got money in our hand. We want your food. We want a product, but you're going to make us wait. And you're going to move slow and not even talk to us and say, the food will be up in 5 minutes. We're waiting on one more thing to come out. You're going to love this. And you don't talk to us. Nothing. We just standing there on some chow line. So I walked out the store because I don't do things like that. The point that I bring this up is that service is so important to the lifeblood of any business that if you're serious about your spiritual life, then when you're working your job, whatever job you got to empathize with the CEO. You got to empathize with the one who owns the business. You can't be in there just grabbing dudes' money and saying, I'm just here, I don't care. That's not spiritual. That ain't even godly. That's unethical and immoral. But you got people claiming God, claiming church, claiming synagogue and mosque, claiming temple. But then you see them on their job and they got a nasty attitude and they're short with people and they don't greet people at the door and they're not trying to help you. But you with God? But you with God though, right? Okay. So this is what this is speaking to. Do nothing haphazardly. Everything you do, put your all into it. Put your all into it. If you gotta be a parent, put your all into it. When you eating, put your all into that plate. When you're, whatever it is, is in cooking, working, cleaning. When it's time to clean, get into that clean. Put your all into it. This is going to help you to get where you got to go. Because remember, whatever dream you have is above you right now. You don't have it. That's why it's a dream. If you want to get to your own higher self, the visions you have of yourself, you're going to have to act that way. And so the way you act that way is adopting a character of a leader. If you work with somebody, if you're working for someone, you work at Whole Foods, you work at Walmart, you work somewhere, the way you're going to get ahead is by acting like the business that you work at is yours. Is yours. You come in there and you work like it's your business, and it's your business at stake. If you got to take out garbage, you say, well, it ain't my job. But if you see the garbage is overflowing, why don't you just go ahead and take the garbage out? It ain't nothing on you. Just go ahead and take, because this is yours. All of it's yours. We talked about that a few lessons back about the real, what is called the real side of use. Oh, I'm sorry, the real side of ownership. The real side of ownership is use. Anything you use, you own. And the legal definition of property is not material goods. It is your access to use material goods is property. That's called property. If someone denies you access to a material good where you can't use it, they took your property. And we talked about that in an early lesson, the legal implications of property. Well, it's applied here when you're working for somebody. If you come into a corporation and you're working for the corporation, act like the CEO from wherever position you at. Act like this whole thing belongs to you. And you know what? Eventually it will. Eventually it will. People gonna see you and you're not gonna be in that position, whatever low position, you ain't gonna be there long. Nope. People gonna see who you are and be like, nope, this person deserves the raise. This person deserves the new position. Or somebody gonna see you from the outside and hire you. I do it I see it all the time. I was at Pizza Hut years ago, or maybe not years, maybe 2 years ago. And Simone and I had to go to the bathroom. We said we're gonna order this pizza. So Simone went in first. She ordered the pizza, then went to the bathroom. I came in afterwards, turned the car off, all that stuff. I come in afterwards. So while I'm walking past, the Simone had already given the order. So there's this little girl, little skinny little woman, she's in there. And it was like 3 other people with them, right? It was like three other people. It's Pizza Hut, so they got like a 4-person staff there, whatever. 3 other. So Simone was like, she must have told her, I want flatbread pizza, lightly, baked. I want this kind of cheese. I want garlic. I want this, and it was very specific. And this is what I want. When I walked past, that woman was like, "This is what the lady wants." She wants the garlic. No, not that garlic. This garlic. She wants the flatbread, and we're going to put the thing on it. She was instructing this team as to how to prepare this pizza. And I was like, the way she was saying it to these people, like the way I was like, she's not going to be here another week. Another 2 weeks, because she is a leader. She's a born leader. She may be working at Pizza Hut right now, but what's coming out her mouth is the Pizza Hut CEO. And she was instructing this crew how to make this pizza. And mind you, there were other people ordering pizzas too. So they had a whole thing going, and she was instructing. And it was like, there's other times I walk into restaurants. I walked into the restaurant that Sun One. We said after the Barkley, after the D-Nice show, we went to a restaurant. We went to this dope Italian restaurant, Giovanni, somewhere downtown. If you're ever in Little Italy in New York, jump down to Giovanni's. And I don't even know if that's the name of it. It's something like that. Something Giovanni's. But when I first went there, before the D-Nice thing, we just went there to eat. Just went there to eat. We walk in, Italian lady come out. Welcome. What are you drinking? We need to sit down here like this. What are you drinking? What do you want? We're like, whoa. Then some other girl, because she's just the hostess, the maitre d'. She's just coming out to greet you. Warm greeting. What do you want to drink? The minute you sit down, bread, olive oil is out there. We sitting down like, whoa, what kind of place is this? Then the woman comes over, smile on her face, taking time with us, tells us the specials, gives us the menu, this and that and the other. I'm like, yo, it's not about the food all the time. It's also about the service. It's also about the service. So these people that came in, they served us. And I was like, yeah, let's get the octopus, the grilled octopus. Let's go. They serving us. You could believe when I got up, $100 tip was left. And they appreciated it because I pay for service. You know that's the truth. And not just the food, but the service. So, and I look and I say, I know why her spot was packed. And her spot was packed, okay? Her spot was packed. And they serving the food and good service. Sometimes people give you the good plate of food, but you don't want to go back because they got attitude. They act like they doing you a favor by eating their food. I ain't spending my money there. But you will come back and spend your money with somebody who is willing to serve you. And that's the attitude we have to adopt. As hip-hoppers, let's get back to service. As black people, we got away from service because of slavery. The whole stigma that enslavement leaves on you has you say, I ain't serving nobody. I ain't go doing that. But this is the sin of slavery. This is the that's a Da Janeiro. Da Janeiro. Okay, there it is. That's the name of the restaurant. Da Janeiro. Down in Little Italy. If you're ever there, go check that out. Nice service, beautiful people. And it's a great place, one of my favorite places. And so much so that we went there after the T-Nice. We all crawled in that spot and started ordering all types of stuff. But my point is on service. So as African Americans, we get away from service because of the whole stigma of slavery. But as hip hoppers, no matter what your race or ethnic background is, cultural background, it doesn't matter. Service, service, service. There's some Italian restaurants you walk into, you want to walk right back out. Nasty attitudes, they looking at you up and down. There's others like the one I mentioned. And there's others like the one I mentioned. Beautiful people, warm. It ain't about the Italian, it's about the person. You know what I'm saying? You walk into some Jamaican restaurants, you be like, what the blood clot am I dealing with? You want to leave this. It's like, get out of here. There's other Jamaican restaurants. It's like your mom's is there. Like you never want to leave this place, okay? It's like, and it's about the person. It's about the person. And that person that understands service and what it means to serve another human being or to serve an interest, serve an agenda. So I went pretty long on that, but you kind of get the point. Do nothing haphazardly. If you got to do it haphazardly, don't do it. Don't do it. If you got to do it haphazardly. But do nothing haphazardly. Jump into your job as if tomorrow when you go to work, go in there with an attitude like, this is mine. I own all of this, okay? And even if that's not the place you want to work, act like the CEO of the place you want to work or own. Act like it now. Don't wait for the opportunity. Be the opportunity now, and you manifest your opportunity through your own character. Paragraph 6, I'm on page 178. We're coming to the end of perform skill. When you're performing your skill, you must be conscious of how skillful you are. Okay? Attuned hip-hoppers who perform the divine performance learn that each performance requires spiritual skill. And of course, this number 7 is highlight. Highlight the whole paragraph of paragraph 7. In many cases, such skill is found and perfected in what? Battles, confrontations, and threatening situations. Never seek confrontation, but never be afraid to fight or display your skill. That's gospel of hip hop. Here we go, y'all. Let me get it on the screen for you, okay? This is it right here. Let me hit you with that one more time, because we are announcing a battle this week, okay? And this week, okay, as we read this. In many cases, such skill, what we're saying, perform skill, be conscious of your skill, so on. Where do you get that at? How do you become a master of your skill? How do you even know you have a skill? In many cases, such skill is found and perfected in battles, confrontations, and threatening situations. Never seek confrontation, but never be afraid to fight or display your skill. And this last line is right for me for this week, because Kane has been running around saying for the last 2 years, if there's anybody I want to battle, it'll be KRS-ONE. If anybody I want to, it'll be KRS. Now, I don't know how he figures that. I eat humans. Okay. I don't know how he figures that. Okay. But that's what he felt for the last 2 years. He said it on allhiphop.com. He's saying it around. And I held my composure. I didn't like it. What makes you think you can just come and say, I want to battle KRS? Like, what's that about? Well, now the manifestation of his own words has come true. And now we're at the Barclays Center. And I did not seek this confrontation. Every time Kane said it, I downplayed it until we got on All Hip Hop again. And I just said, nah, that's not going to work. You ain't going to keep saying that, keeps tapping me in my face, and I don't turn around and bite you. My lyrics is crazy. And so, God has given me a lamb to make an example of. Some good eating. So in his head, it's like, never seek confrontation. We're not seeking no confrontation. But never be afraid to fight or display your skill. And I am not afraid of either one of those. So it's on. Paragraph 8. It is when we are challenged by people, places, things, and events that we are made strong and skillful in life. For at the end of all human knowledge and strength, God shall appear. Once fully practiced in overcoming the challenges of life, the attuned hip-hopper is spiritually strong and prepared to teach and lead others. Once you're strong, spiritually strong, now you can teach and lead. Highlight paragraph 9. We're highlighting paragraph 9. Highlight. Perfect your cultural, spiritual, artistic, and intellectual skills by performing your skills often. As professor, but also philosopher Henry W. Longfellow once stated, quote, I will be a man among men and no longer a dreamer among shadows. Henceforth be mine a life of action and reality. I will work in my own sphere, I will work in my own sphere, nor wish it other than it is. This alone is health and happiness. End quote. Now let's break that down real quick. Quote, I will be a man among men. Stop. That is the ultimate line right there. And for our women, I will be a woman amongst girls. This is their boys. But no, I will be a woman amongst women. I will be a man amongst men. I will be a man amongst boys. And a man amongst men. I will be a woman amongst girls. And a woman amongst women. This is a powerful line to say, I will be. See, this is an affirmation. That's why we're highlighting the whole 9. We're highlighting the whole 9. Right here, the whole paragraph 9, we're highlighting the whole thing. I will be a man among men, and no longer a dreamer among shadows. Henceforth, from this moment forth, be mine a life of action and duty. From this moment, my life is going to be about action and, action and reality. Action and reality. Henceforth, be mine a life of action and reality. And here's the key piece. You can even underline this particular sentence. I will work in my own sphere, nor wish it other than it is. That's a very important line. I will work in my own sphere, nor wish it other than it is. In other words, I'm only going to teach hip hop. I'm going to stay in my sphere. I'm not trying to get a PhD in theology from some seminary school. I don't need that. I have a PhD in theology studying hip hop. I don't need to go in another sphere. I don't need another sphere. I'm gonna stay in my sphere. I will work in my own sphere. I'm not jealous of another person's circle. I'm not jealous of or envious of other people's circle and what they get and what they got in their circle and how they making their thing look like that. That's not on me, and it shouldn't be on you either. I work within my own sphere, which is hip hop. Within hip hop, I'm protected. Within hip hop, I'm the master of my craft. The minute I step out of hip hop, I'm not the master of my craft. Someone else is the master of the craft I'm doing. In hip hop, I am my culture. In another sphere, I'm a visitor. So perform skill. Perform skill. Let me breeze through perform intelligence, and then we're going to take our first break. I'm now at performance 13, which is perform intelligence. Our intelligence is creatively inquisitive. Creatively inquisitive. Therefore, practice asking questions, especially about the things that you already are familiar with. Did you hear that? Ask questions about the things you already know. Not just ask questions about what you don't know. Most people say you ask a question because you don't know something, so you ask a question. That's legitimate. But right here, we're saying right up at the top, practice. There's a practice. Asking questions, especially about the things that you are already familiar with. Question what you were told. Question your grade school education. Question that Bible. Question the things you were told growing up. Question Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. Question Christmas and Thanksgiving. Question these things, not to disrespect or tear something down, but for knowledge. You want to know the truth. So ask a question about what you already know. For it is the question that drives us toward God, toward our God, not necessarily the answer, the acquired answer. It's the question that drives us toward our God, not necessarily the acquired answer. And notice the spelling of God, lowercase. Asking the right questions leads to spiritual awareness and peace. At the start of one's quest for spiritual awareness, one must ask the correct questions that will expand one's ability to acquire and apply correct spiritual knowledge. We must question God to know more about God. For it is indeed true that your God, and wait a minute, when I say this, we must question God to know more about God. Those that have their gospel, look at the spelling of that. We must question capital G-O-D to know more about our capital G lowercase o-d. So you must question the supreme intelligence to know about your supreme intelligence. For it is indeed true that your God will answer all of your questions with astonishing accuracy. The hip-hopper uses faith to see what is not yet physically there and uses action to bring those things into existence. Now I want you to underline, don't highlight the whole paragraph too. Just underline the second sentence. Underline this part. The hip-hopper uses faith to see what is not yet physically there and uses action to bring those things into existence. Underline that. Intelligence, the ability to know and perceive, questions the two. Questions both your actions and your faith. Intelligence questions faith and action. Be careful. Question God, but never doubt God. And notice the two spellings. Question God, but never doubt God. Just as our faith sees and confirms what is not yet physically possible, our intelligence must ask questions concerning the possibilities of what is perceived to be possible. But do not allow the performance of your intelligence to override your faith. This is why intelligence must be performed, not just overcoming your whole head. Okay, no, don't let that overcome your faith. Don't let that override your spirit and your soul. For we are guided by the questions we ask, not necessarily by the answers we get. But once our intelligence has given its performance, it must be put back in its place in the dimension of question, perception, logic, and rationale. This is what it means to perform your intelligence. Do not allow your intelligence to just rule over your life. Apply its sharp inquiry and sense of perception when necessary to shape the reality that you truly desire. We, hip-hoppers, should pay more attention to how we view the world, because the solutions for many of society's ills lie inside of us. Hip-hoppers must question the so-called facts of the physical world, but after gaining an awareness of one's spiritual nature, question not, only believe the truth of one's spirit. As Colton reminds us, another philosopher reminds us, quote, doubt is the vestibule which all must pass before they can enter the temple of wisdom. This is so important. Let me say it again, end quote. Let me say it again. Quote, doubt is the vestibule, the ledge, okay, the vestibule, which all must pass, the thing, go through, is the vestibule which all must pass before they can enter the temple of wisdom. So the temple of wisdom, according to him, according to Colton, you got to doubt. You have to question and get the answer. Question and then go ahead and get the answer. And this is forming up the wisdom. This is forming up the wisdom. Questions. And not necessarily the answer, but the road it took to get the answer is the wisdom. The road, the acquiring of the answer, the journey to the answer, the path to the goal is the wisdom and the real enlightenment. So remember that intelligence is all about your ability to know. In fact, intelligence and understanding is the same thing. You know, people say, oh, you have a high IQ or a low IQ. All of tests have also been proven to be racist and out of touch with reality. an IQ test, stupidity. But real intelligence is about what you can understand. That's the real piece of intelligence. And it deals with your perception, what you can see. So realize that. And also for a deeper look, you can go check out Streetlight. Check out the DVD Streetlight. We talk a little bit about this in Streetlight, the film Streetlight, about intelligence and how words affect intelligence. But here we're talking about just a straight intelligence, your perception, how you see things, how you understand. Intelligence is all about understanding. It's not about book knowledge. In fact, as I think of it, there's you can go on YouTube and type in real niggas, N-I-G-G-A-Z, real niggas, and look at institutional racism through an intellectual analysis of the N-words. There we talk about intelligence as well. And for those that are part of this study, you should really go see that, learn that. It's about a 2-hour tutorial on the word nigger, N-I-G-E-R, and there are other variations. You should go look at that. Anyone of any background, go check that out. Real niggas, N-I-G-G-A-Z, real niggas. And it's a look at institutional racism, really, but you can't see it unless you look at these words: nigger, primitive, savage, barbarian, these kinds of words, and you get to really see your real culture. But anyway, so that was perform intelligence. We are reading perform skill, perform intelligence, and we're now gonna get into perform communication and go into the others. We're gonna take a quick break right now. And Son One, also cue up the song Crazy, so you can hear it again one more time. We're gonna shoot a video for this, and then we're gonna blast this out. The song is out, is going to be out. In fact, you're hearing it first, right here, at the Temple of Hip Hop. So let's take our first break. I'll be right back. We're on page 179 of the Gospel of Hip Hop. We're gonna return with perform communication. Let's take our first break.
Yeah! My lyrics, they must be crazy. My lyrics is crazy. Chris is Pharaoh with bow and the arrow. We double the barrel. Gorilla apparel, the mightiest barrel. Don't think of a battle. My lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting them at you, the actual, factual, front to the back of you, papping and cracking, you packing a Mac for you. Look at them live at you, lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting with meaning, you see what I'm teaching your mind. I am reaching with all that I'm teaching, that love and that peace, and it never will weaken. The truth I am speaking is crazy. Truth I am speaking, get used to repeating. The youth I am reaching with proof of this teaching. I speak for a reason, so they can believe in the truth of MC, and it's crazy. Cracking the back of these rappers, I'm passing these actors, I'm faster. Spitting metal nets, ripping clubs forever. We becoming better, spreading love forever. Crazy. You hearing a pro, I'm spitting a flow that you know. Higher level thinking, I come to show. Knowledge of self is a thing you must know. You see what they playing, they steady betraying the culture we making, exploiting and taking. Look at them faking what we are creating. Now you mistaken what's real and what's faking. This ain't what do for the money they making. They sell out their people, their culture, their nation. Sell out their soul for a radio station so they can be playing in heavy rotation. You see what I'm saying? Our culture they taking, but that's not enough. It's our spirit they breaking, and only the culture can see what I'm saying, cause only the culture will see them betraying. You see what they playing, you see what they saying, and you cannot see us. Our people ain't slaying. Well, maybe you do, and then maybe you don't, and then maybe you will, and then maybe you won't. But it's our community that's losing hope with the greed and the crime and the broken. Well, our people are dying. You seeing them choke with that cheating and lying. You seeking the vote when they telling our people now this is they hope, but did anything change with the last vote? No. The time before that did we pass? No. Oh, we've been getting this chapter 11 while racists with weapons are shooting our reverence. A message from heaven with all that you get and get understanding, overstanding this lesson with all of the bling and the cash that you getting. You choking for sure. It's the poor you neglecting, the thieves and the liars. They all in a section. I'm bringing my people a different directing. Crazy. My lyrics is crazy. Coming so crazy. They must be crazy. Yo, So here goes another, my sisters and brothers. It's obvious KRS ain't like these others. I've been at the while they under the cover. I spit off the head while they babble and stutter. Not 3 and not 2, but the 1 is my number. I'm spitting my written. I tour every summer with every year. I get younger and younger, but someone to doubt and continue to wonder. It's crazy. They continue to blunder. It's crazy. They continue to slumber. What I am teaching is what I'm expressing. I'm teaching the streets is the mind is a weapon. Like anything you can perceive in perception is what you will manifest all in your section. It's crazy. Set up your own direction. Crazy. Don't get caught up in complexion. Crazy. This is that reason I'm spitting and books getting written, cause you be forgetting it's crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy.
Yeah. The sacred womb of the goddess. Hip-hop is the only coming God polish. The return of the nigga summon God's knowledge. Resurrected in the waking up the God on it. It is I, it is you, be it God's honest. The truth of what I'm telling you's beyond college. And any book they done took it divine wallets. Overlooked cause I'm hooked, they like your son's wildin'. I put these crooks back on shook, this is divine styling. Reconnected by the essence of the soul force. Brought it back, still intact, straight from the soul source. Know where we at, still on track, riding soul's course. Stick to the facts, to what is black, knocking soul's door. This is the higher self reflected on the teacher's teachers. For whosoever finds himself within this vocal region, and can detect and accept they hear God speaking. Not the God of gods, but God's solar beacon. From the Alpha to Omega, get the rising of it. Creed of creator, all they tried to say it never wasn't. Universe and nature, the seed of the life we coming. All that we are made of hip-hop, the realest want it. Hate you with the feeling so you can overstand. We are at the ceiling of what you think, woman and man. So many abilities than just the sleight of hand. Gotta read between the lives of Christ to hip-hop understand. Forever, boom, back. Oh shit, nigga, boom, forever. Hip-hop forever, boom, back. Oh shit, nigga, boom, forever. This is hip-hop forever. Peace to the gods and the goddesses. Let's go rock this forever. Stop this shit never. I'll drop shit forever. Rearrange the game, I got this together. Now let down my next round. This is a set sound. The best down, nigga, if you ready to rap now. The rest out, niggas gon' be ready to step down. Select now, nigga, get upset if you left out. The usual, that's what niggas trying to get you used to. Fuck if you used to, cause fame can't confuse you. Entice with riches, and just mentally use you. Misjudge of character, you gotta know who's who. Stagnant out this bitch, cause this shit was always coming. Niggas felt it in their stomach, they knew they didn't want it. Try refusing every wanted, cause the time was almost done it. They couldn't foresee the sun in these times, but they had none of what they need, yes indeed. From the elders to the seeds, cause these niggas need to know it's deceiving to just believe. MCs came to teach you better, heed what you receive. Best believe we planting seeds that's gon' grow through all degrees. Either greatest or the fakest. Life is what you make it. Be you sleep or reawaken. Are you giving it all you taking? Are you still or you still chasing? Which side are you adjacent? What creations you create and remake it within the matrix? Hip hop forever, boom, back. Oh shit, nigga, boom, forever. Hip hop forever, boom, back. Oh shit, nigga, boom, forever.
Hip-hop forever, I was never a record seller. I'm in that other place where colonial heads be getting severed. Marcus, Malcolm, Martin, and Mecca, cock back the lever. I'm with the American Indian movement, my aim's better. Underground like a cellar, wise like Helen Keller. The good fella, we won't be here forever like Lolly Bella. I can't be beat, so I spit out the Pella. Most rappers will be forgotten like that car they used to call Jetta. Whatever, let's not take it back too far. The Jetta, that's the real car. Like the sun in the sky, that's a real star. So what's really real? A God is what you really are. Those that deny this fact of life, they don't get really far. You are a divine human being. You need to start seeing that human is what you're being, but it's not your being. Human, that's a word, it's a choice of being. Being, that's divine. Human is a choice, the being is seeing. Whatever being is seeing, believing, or perceiving, that's a manifestation for a reason in due season. It's called the gift of Ptah, where you actually see you're speaking. Your environment begins to reflect the words you are repeating. Speak it in the morning, you see it in the evening. Speak it on Monday or Tuesday, you see it by the weekend. This is what I'm teaching on the mic now. Hip-hop is forever, we clever, we proving that fact right now.
Hip hop forever, boom, bap. Oh shit, nigga, boom, forever. Hip hop forever, boom, bap. Oh shit, nigga, boom, forever.
Yes, indeed. And we are back once again. Again, I am KRS-ONE. And one thing I forgot, we just went into the lesson. I never said that this is the temple of hip hop, and we are a ministry, archive, school, and society. We started in 1986. I'm sorry, 1996, when KRS-ONE realized that he was hip hop and not just doing hip hop, but that he actually was hip hop. Let me take this out of the screen here. That little, I just want to move you over. But that he was hip hop, and so since then, the Temple of Hip Hop has been working behind the scenes to establish hip hop as a legitimate global culture, to legitimize hip hop as culture, and our mission is a success already. Everyone knows hip hop as a culture now, but when we first started, that was not the case. So the mission continues. It wasn't just about hip hop being a culture, a global culture. Yes, it is, and we wanted to establish it as that. But it was also about establishing that land, building a hip hop city, having our own space where our children can grow up in peace and prosperity. So this is the Temple of Hip Hop, and this is what we're all about. At the beginning of this, I talked about your role with the Temple of Hip Hop and how serious do you take it? Don't just sit there and watch us rise and you not be part of this rise. So that was that part there. So what you just heard was Hip Hop Forever. Boom, bap. One of my more favorite songs, just in general, in that sense. One of the favorite songs of the Sun One album. Make sure y'all go get that. Take a look at it. Nice album. But that particular song in particular is teaching what the Temple of Hip Hop is teaching. This is what it is. Speaking on Monday, Tuesday, you see it by the weekend. And in our case, it's going to be, speaking in January, or should I say, what is this, October? Speaking in October, you see it in January. Speaking in November, you're going to see it in February. We live by this, and it's not enough to just teach it. You have to express it, and where's the example of it? Okay, where's the example of what it is you're teaching? And so this is what it is, and of course you're going to see more and more examples of speaking on Monday. You see it by Friday. When you walk this path and you align yourself with the universe, you are aligning yourself with reality itself, so that you can then say what you want and it comes to you. You can put yourself in situations in your mind, and then your environment matches the situation that's in your mind. That's the path we on. That's the path we on. This is the knowledge I think that our people need. Our people need this. I mean, I love Muhammad. I love Jesus. I love Buddha. And I mean that. I mean, these are great texts and characters to follow. But we're hip hop. We ain't got to be all that. We hip hop right here, right now. Okay? How are we supposed to be conducting ourselves? And that's the second part of this right here. We're talking about a winning attitude, a winning character. That's what this whole lesson today is about. a winning character. And we're reading from page 177 in the Gospel of Hip Hop to page 186. And we're covering skill, intelligence, communication, responsibility, and action. This is that winning character. We just went over skill and intelligence. Let's start now with communication. This is the 14th performance. Perform communication. Be aware of what you are communicating to the world. Be aware of that. Do not just talk for the sake of talking. Be mindful of every word, thought, and action that you may communicate to others. Instead of speaking out of idleness, perform silence. Most events, good and or evil, begin with thoughts, and then words, and then actions. The attuned hip-hopper creates a productive life arena through the thoughts and words he chooses to express. Every thought and spoken idea creates an awareness around the hip-hopper. The awareness, this awareness attracts the people, places, and things that help to openly manifest the intentions of that hip-hopper's heart or emotional state. By speaking for the sake of joy and peace, the attuned hip-hopper creates an awareness that attracts joy and peace in one's life. Attuned hip-hoppers speak of good things so that good things may manifest in their lives and in the lives of others. Do not label your work ready to die unless you are ready to die. Do not claim to be criminal-minded unless you are prepared for the results of criminal activity. Do not think and or speak those things that you wish to avoid in your life, and be careful of what you continuously listen to. Be aware of those who speak with bad intentions and perversion as the main subject of their conversation. You see, this is also what Hip Hop Forever, the song, was going into. Both Sun One and KRS-ONE spoke about this on that particular song. This right here, be careful what you say, especially if you walk in this path. Be aware of those who speak with bad intentions and perversion as the main subject of their conversation. Seek to correct them humbly if they are simply unaware. You know, some people just be talking shit, don't know what they say. You know, you could say, listen, man, stop saying I don't. You know, like, you don't have to keep saying I can't. You don't have to keep, you know, like that. Just correct them. You know, like, use other words. It's important. Seek to correct them humbly if they are simply unaware, or simply avoid their company if they reject truth. When others are frustrated, use diplomacy and speak from the perspective of wisdom. This is that winning character. You could say, just let it go. This is you advising someone else. Just let it go. You're bigger than that. Don't let this situation steal your joy. Forget that. God has bigger plans for you. Are they really worth it? You can say all of this. Here now, highlight number 5, which highlight the whole paragraph of 5. Do not judge. Simply make observations and show others with wisdom and understanding the causes and the effects of what they communicate. People should know that your character and personality is one of maturity and trustworthiness. Lead by example. Advise others with your very personality and the results of your life experiences. Again, do not judge. Simply make observations and show others with wisdom and understanding the causes and the effects of what they communicate. People should know that your character and personality is one of maturity and trustworthiness. Lead by example. Advise others with your very personality and the results of your life experiences. That's what this whole lesson is all about right here. And this whole gospel is what it's about. We're teaching from what we know happened and will happen. There's no need for dream here, no need for belief and faith and all that. This is right here. This is what we know works. Number 6. Do not linger around those whose conversation, I'm sorry, wait a minute. I just saw my notes here. Where we are highlighting 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, and 7 are being highlighted. 5, 6, and 7. Let me read 6. I read 5 twice. Let me read 6 and 7. Do not, this is all highlighted as well. Do not linger around those whose conversation carries impurity and scandal. Get away from those people. Seek the companionship of those who you study and pray with. Know this. Well, this last sentence, when it says know this, all the way to the end of this sentence, underline it. It's already highlighted, but I need you to put special emphasis on this part of chapter 6, of paragraph 6. Know this. Communication is not just speech. Hip-hoppers communicate through writing, drawing, fashion, personal character, dancing, rapping, eating, etc. I'll say it again. Know this. Communication is not just speech. Hip-hoppers communicate through writing, drawing, their fashion, their personal characters, dancing, rapping, and eating. For when the attuned hip-hopper finally acknowledges the truth that God is present, that hip-hopper's character changes. And when that hip-hopper's character is one of righteousness, others are disciplined and inspired not only by that hip-hopper's words, but also by that hip-hopper's character and very presence. For there are certain things that people just cannot do in the presence of holiness. For the very character of the attuned hip-hopper disciplines, teaches, and inspires those who surround her. All of this, 5, 6, and 7 is highlighted. That's the character. Walking in righteousness as a teacher, you teach others without opening your mouth. 8. Attuned hip-hoppers care more about the totality of what is being transmitted or passed on to others than about the way in which one actually speaks. While others communicate hatred, we communicate love. While others communicate anger, we communicate joy. Not by speaking it, but by being it. Even in fierce argument, we must practice and strengthen our spiritual reflexes. We must train ourselves to never enter into the insanity of anger, bitterness, or hatred while arguing. And that's hard too. That's hard to do. We must perform our communication, not just communicate. And that's the point. Perform the communication, don't just communicate. And in the performance, I'm angry, but I'm going to perform my communication. So you get to control that anger. We must perform our communication, not just communicate. For example, we should never argue in front of children or when they can hear the thoughts of our angry, resentful, fearful minds. That's for parents. Simone and I try to practice that right there. Never argue in front of children. You got something to say, let's go in the back room. Let's not argue in front of our kids. Discipline yourself. Guide your inward and outward communication. Learn to speak well, read well, and write well. These lead to good communication skills. Learn to deliver your point. Learn to deliver your point of view quickly and accurately. Get to the point. And remember, sometimes the best communication is silence. Never be afraid to say nothing at all. Silence is a communicator too. For it is in the performances of one's life that one's intentions are communicated and then manifested. Perform your communication and be aware at all times of what you are communicating as well as what is being communicated to you. KRS reminds us that, I'm sorry? Oh, okay. It's 27%. Sorry about that. KRS reminds us that, and quote, if any speak ill of thee, flee home to thy own conscience and examine thy heart. If thou be guilty, it is just correction. If not guilty, it is fair instruction. Make use of both, so shalt thou distill honey out of gall, and out of an open enemy create a secret friend. End quote. And what he's saying here is that if anyone speak ill of you, go into yourself and question, are they true? Are they right? And if it's true, then correct yourself. They were right. Don't get angry. Oh, he told me I was dead. No, go inside. Is he right? Is she right? Do I really act like this? Do I sound like this? Go inside. And if there's some correction that needs to happen, go ahead and correct. And then that person, it says, fly home to thine own conscience and examine thy heart. If thou be guilty of what somebody's saying, then it is a just correction. They're telling you something about you. Look at your heart, see if they're true, and if it's true, correct it. But if you're not guilty of what they're saying, they just mouthing off. They say, if not guilty, it is fair instruction. Like in other words, they're saying all this about you, but you know that ain't me. So you just say, let me take it as fair instruction. Like they just saying what they would do. They're citing their morality using what they believe about me. And I say, I agree with you. All of what you're saying, I agree with you. You know, I get it. So and I would add to this and say that if somebody speaks ill of you and it's not true, then they're an idiot. That's it. It's not true. So you just have your own problem. Boom. And so, but here the instruction is, if you're guilty, correct yourself. And if you're not guilty, then it's just instruction. And by doing that, you make honey, you make something sweet out of something bitter, and you make an open enemy a secret friend. Perform communication. Performance 15, perform responsibility. This is all part of a winning character. Regularly check your response ability. This means to regularly check the character of what you respond to. Prepare for what you must respond to and be mindful as to how well you respond. Ask yourself daily, what is my ultimate responsibility? Have I met my responsibilities? True hip-hoppers always seek their help, which proves their selflessness. True hip-hoppers always seek to uplift, enhance, and strengthen those who rely upon them. Even if it is personally uncomfortable, the true hip-hopper does what is required of him and her. Such an ability is not for everyone, nor can such an ability even be performed by everyone. Responsibility is a spiritual skill. And here's why. I'll highlight the whole paragraph of number 2. It is maturity, self-respect, and self-sacrifice that helps to develop the response ability of the true hip-hopper. Let me say that one more time. It is maturity, self-respect, and self-sacrifice that helps to develop the response ability of the true hip-hopper. Without maturity, self-respect, and the ability to sacrifice for others, it is difficult to be a responsible person. This is why many young rap fans start off irresponsible. They simply lack the ability to respond to issues beyond my clothes, my rent, my car, my thirst, and so on. They cannot see past their own individual wants and needs. Self-sacrifice is the essence of responsibility. Self-sacrifice is the essence of responsibility. And of course, you highlight the whole of number 2. I was just thinking of that. Look at that, self-sacrifice. Can you sacrifice yourself? Simone has an acronym for CROSS. That's CROSS, C-R-O-S-S, constant reminder of self-sacrifice. What is the cross? A constant reminder of self-sacrifice. The temple of hip hop encourages hip hoppers to do what they are supposed to do when they are supposed to do it. Most people are led by their wants and not by their needs. Most people do what they want to do as opposed to what they must do. And this is just irresponsible. Hip hoppers are encouraged to do what they must do first, then do whatever they want to do later. Always doing what is pleasurable and or easy to do sets one up for a weak foundation in life. Write that again. Always doing what is pleasurable and or easy to do sets one up for a weak foundation in life. For there is nothing special about easy. It is the conquering of the difficult that makes one special and even appreciated. Now, there's an error here in number 5, and I want to point that out for scholarship. Here's number 5. The one who goes out of her way to remove a difficulty is respected by everyone. The one who can be depended upon is respected by everyone. The one who makes sacrifices for the good of the whole is respected by everyone. And this is what it means to be responsible. Here's the error. It means that you and others are clear as to where your commitment lies. That sentence is incorrect. And I'm going to point this out. So underline this last sentence right here. It means that you and others are clear as to where your commitment lies. Now, it sounds grammatically correct, but it's incorrect. What it should say is, it means that you and others are clear as to where your commitments lie. Not commitment lies. It's commitments lie, because it means that you and others are, it's the others, it's you and others. If it was just you, it would be your commitment lie, where your commitment lies, right, where your commitment lies, if it was just you. But it's not just you, it's not just a you, it is you and others. So it means that you and others are clear as to where your commitments lie. So this last sentence is an error in the gospel of hip hop. You scholars should know that. Moving forward, paragraph 6. The attuned hip hopper is not afraid of commitment. In fact, the attuned hip hopper builds a character that demands respect by selflessly performing her commitments and responsibilities. At times, we must even sacrifice for those who depend upon us. And I know I'm talking to somebody out there. We will not always like what we must do, but if the greater good depends upon our commitment, then those dependent upon us, then those dependent upon our sacrifices must not be let down. Attuned hip hoppers are dependable people. Now here's the highlight. The highlight is paragraph 8 and 9. This is the character of the hip hopper. Not only a winning character, but the character. Notice how I said down here in the end of 7, attuned hip hoppers are dependable people. That's the character. Dependent. You are dependable. 8. The attuned hip hopper upholds an image of maturity and can always be depended upon. Remember, with whatever you must do, if you want to do it, then it is not a sacrifice. It is when you do things that you personally do not want to do that you are indeed sacrificing. However, to be responsible is to be dependable. Keep going. Hip hoppers are encouraged to be dependable people, responsible people, committed people. For us, the balanced life is when you want to do what you have to do. When your responsibilities are a joy to complete, your life is balanced. When you are committed and responsible to something or someone you truly love, when your sacrifices bring you peace and joy, your life is balanced. And highlight 8 and 9. Charles Kingsley reminds us, quote, thank God every morning when you get up that you have something to do which must be done, whether you like it or not. Being forced to work and forced to do your best will breed in you temperance, self-control, diligence, strength of will, content, and 100 other virtues which the idle never know. Perform responsibility. Now, this piece here, this end piece, I'm going to read it one more time. This piece here I mentioned before about service. This is where especially African Americans don't want to go here because of the trauma of slavery and service. But take a look at the truth. This is the truth of the character of the so-called slave. They got you looking at 12 years a slave like these people were just getting beat and whipped against a tree. They got us looking at Roots, Rosewood, and all these slave movies. Look at the character of the African under oppression, not slavery. Look at the character of this human being. Look what happened to the person who was forced to work. Charles Kingsley reminds us to thank God every morning when you get up that you have something to do which must be done, whether you like it or not. Really? This is the piece right here. Being forced to work. That's slavery. Or is it? Being forced to work and forced to do your best will breed in you temperance, self-control, diligence, strength of will, content, and 100 other virtues which the slaver never knew. 100 other virtues that the so-called master never knew. The so-called master, the so-called slaver, the overseer, these were the idle people. These are the idle. These are the ones who got nothing to do because slaves are doing it all. You don't cook, you don't clean, you ain't growing nothing, you ain't killing nothing, you ain't nothing. You just want to be served. So at the end of the day, at the 50th year, you're sick and brought low because you wasn't in the sun getting the vitamin D because you was picking cotton or planting rice. You thought it was, oh, you in there planting cotton, I'm a master over you. What you didn't realize is when that dude turned 50, he's gonna live to 100. She's gonna live to 100. You turn 40 and you having problems at 41 because you're idle. You're not using your muscles. You're not using your body. You ain't even using your mind. And so at the end of the day, what did happen to those so-called slaves? And if you look at the character that's being put forth, the so-called slave had all of these characteristics to survive slavery, to survive the oppression, to survive capitalism, to survive colonialism and imperialism. This is what our ancestors had to endure. They had to have temperance, self-control, diligence, strength of will, content, and 100 other virtues that the dudes oppressing them never knew. Perform your responsibility. Even no matter what it looked like when you're on the mic, no matter what it looked like, perform your responsibilities. Be dependable to the people who are depending upon you. Be reliable. That's important. On a spiritual path, that's important. Perform action. This is the 16th performance. I'm on page 184. Perform action. The most important thing to know of oneself is one's purpose. Now, I just want you to underline that real quick. I just want to underline that part real quick. Okay. Underline that part. And matter of fact, what I'm going to do is underline the first 2 sentences here because they go together. The most important thing to know of oneself is one's purpose. The fulfillment of one's life purpose is the cause of true joy and happiness. And I'm here to tell you that one. Straight up and down. Do not become idle or live without purpose. Although you may be still seeking your purpose, perform action. Never just sit around being unaware of the effects of your actions or your non-action. The attuned hip-hopper shows others through example what righteousness, love, justice, charity, and overstanding looks like. The attuned hip-hopper is aware of how her actions or his actions teach society. Such a hip-hopper knows that every social act is a lesson performed in and of one's family, friends, and larger society. You know, each lesson is performed in and for one's family, friends, and larger society. For every cause or act, there is an effect or response. Be aware of what you cause to exist through your thinking and actions. We are the offspring of our own actions. We actually create ourselves through action, which is motivated by purpose. So what's your purpose? If you lack direction or purpose in life, focus your mind upon the actions of your teacher. Like right now, if you don't really know what your purpose is and you're still seeking it out, focus then, and of course you are hip hop, focus then on what I'm doing right now. If you're struggling for a purpose, give yourself the purpose of teaching hip hop. Decide right now, I'm going to teach this. And I'm going to teach it based upon what I'm learning from the teacher. I'm going to teach this. If you have no purpose or you feel that you have no purpose, because everybody has a purpose, some have to find it. Some are born with purpose. Some know their purpose and ignore it. If you're a person who is looking for purpose, looking for what your life purpose could be, and you really don't know, join in with someone who has a life purpose. Even if it's not me, join in with someone nearer to you that has a life purpose. Assist them. Be an apprentice to them. And you'll find your purpose in that. Because sometimes working on situations that you don't either want to work on or you say, why am I doing this? When you're in uncomfortable or unfamiliar environments, you do also find out what is comfortable and what is familiar. Sometimes you got to see the ugly to know what's beautiful. You got to taste the bitter to know what's sweet. And in this case, sometimes you have to go and help someone else with their purpose to find your own. Pay attention. I'm at paragraph 3. Pay attention to the way that your teacher performs an action and imitate those performances. Know that your teacher is impartial to success or failure, and I really am. It ain't about the success or the failure. It's about the event itself, the experience itself. See how your teacher is not attached to the effects of the act. Feel how your teacher not only gives, but sacrifices. We're going to highlight 4 and 5 right here. We're going to highlight 4 and 5. This, and we also say 4 and 5, this is the escape of karma. This is the end of karma. Karma is an Indian word. India from India. Hindu word. Hindi word. That means action. It actually means action. But people know the word karma to mean that something's going to, what you do to others come back to you. You give love, you get love. You give hate, you get hate. We'll go around, come around. The law of actions, the law of intent, and these kinds of things. They call it the law of karma, where, what you put out in the universe is what you're going to get. And there's a deeper part to that, which says that some of us are born with karmas. If you're into reincarnation, you understand that. You'll know that you come to the earth with a karma that you need to work out in that sense. And so you come here to work that out. Now, that's all Hindu philosophy and religion. That's the Hindi language, and that is the Indian people from India, not hip hop. Okay, here's hip hop, okay, and how we approach karma. The attuned hip hopper understands that even while acting, we do nothing at all. The attuned hip hopper knows that all is the great oneness deity, G-O-D, and it is only God, G-O-D, that actually acts. When we are eating, breathing, talking, walking, working, driving, etc., we really do nothing at all. Only God, through nature, is moving, which gives us the temporary appearance of movement. The attuned hip-hopper does not act nor causes action when it is understood that all action is the divine performance of God. We are actually the effects of God in action. Highlight 4 and 5, because that's the end of karma right there. Karma is a judgment on your actions. I did this, it's coming back to me. But when God does something, ain't nothing coming back to you. When supreme intelligence is doing something, you're not doing it. So how does karma come into play here? Karma comes into play because of your ego. Because you're constantly saying, I, and you're looking at a me, and a my. And so you have to take on now karma and the brunt and the burden of saying, wow, you know, this is happening to me. This is me. And the more you say me and my and I, the more you develop a karma about yourself. You have to work this out now. You have to repent for your sin. You have to learn lessons that you did not learn. That's old. Here now the new. I don't do nothing at all. It's all God. I give my entire being over to God, period. Everything I do is God. My will is God's will. My mouth is God's mouth. What I eat is what's God's eating. I don't have a me. I don't have an I don't have that. I have God. What you call I call God. And so what others call self, I call God, the supreme intelligence. There's no more me. There is only the supreme intelligence acting through me. And the only reason I would say supreme intelligence acting through me is because people get upset if I said I am God and I am acting. Oh no, Chris, come on, cool it off, Chris. Come on, bring it back now. Because we can't understand that language. We're too Christianized. We don't understand our original religion, our original way of being. So I ease you back. I say, okay, let's talk, let's communicate in the language of our audience and what people can understand so far. There's no me, there's no my, there's no I, there is only God. And when you realize that, karma disappears because there's no you. Paragraph 6. Like when the wind blows dried leaves across the road, the leaves have no sense of the wind blowing them along, yet the leaves move. Physical bodies have movement in a similar way. Forces, winds, blow against us and push us toward the circumstance or push us toward this circumstance or that circumstance. We must learn to navigate the forces, winds of life toward the fulfillment of our life's purpose. To navigate the winds of life. This is what we teach in here and how to do it. The way you navigate the winds of life is through your character. Your character is the sail that catches these forces. Some people put up sails with holes in them. Some people put up a thin sail. You can only catch a little wind. Some people put up big sail and catch life's currents and go with it. Some people have no sails at all. They're just sitting in the water. So you got to learn how to navigate the winds of life. And the way you navigate the winds of life, the forces of life, is with your character, your intentions, what you're able to see. And that's what we're talking about. Your skill, your intelligence, your level of communication, your responsibility, your ability to respond, and your responsibility. And here we're talking action. This is that winning character. This is the winning character. I'm going to hit 7. However, such navigation has more to do with allowing the force to carry you without you getting in your own way. Spiritual navigation has to do with allowing God to guide your life. It's about God's leadership in your life. Some people regard God's leadership in their life as a choice. They say, I now give my life to God, as if they had the authority to do such a thing. You see, and this is the point to the Temple of Hip Hop and how we teach. Look at this right here. They say, I now give my life to God, as if they had the authority to do that. You didn't give yourself life. So how can you give that life to God? You're not the author of life. This alone should be humbling, but it's not. I need you to highlight 7. I'm sorry, that's what I was trying to get out my mouth. Highlight the whole paragraph number 7. Highlight the whole 7. However, such navigation is the navigation of life. Now, I mentioned your character, your intent, your responsibility. All of that's navigation. All of that's the sails. Here's what brings them all together. Here you go. Such navigation has more to do with allowing the force to carry you without you getting in your own way. Spiritual navigation has to do with allowing God to guide your life. It's about God's leadership in your life. That's the navigation. Some people regard God's leadership in their lives as a choice. They say, I now give my life to God, as if they had the authority to do such a thing. The leadership of God in your life is not a choice. It is the truth. It is a realization, an awakening, a new start. It is a new start, actually. A new awareness, a sense of giving up and letting go on your part. Let me read this one more time. The leadership of God in your life is not a choice. It is the truth. You understand that? It's a realization, an awakening, a new awareness, a sense of giving up and letting go on your part. The leadership of God is happening now. God's leadership is happening right now. It is you who must realize this by releasing your fears, doubts, and disbeliefs about your own God force. That's why we say, question God, but never doubt. Question, but never doubt. We must get in harmony with what God is already doing in our lives. And that's so important. I gotta say it. We must get in harmony with what God is already doing in our life. This is the navigation. You're already sailing. You really don't have to put up a tent. But if you want to put up a big tent, then first God has already got a tent up. You just don't see it. In fact, it's not even a tent. God already has the motor running under the boat. The boat already going. You think you need a tent, a sail. You think you need a sail to catch the wind. And God already got the motor under the boat. That's the analogy. That's the parable. That's the parable right there. And it's an accurate one. Your engine ain't on. So you're putting up sails to catch the wind of life. Because you don't know that all you got to do is turn around and there's a 6-horse, a 20-horse engine right there. It's not about the sail, isn't it? It's about God. And God already got the motor running under you. Just turn it on. And you turn it on with a character. You turn it on with a character. Know this. When our will is not the will of our God, we naturally begin to experience pain and suffering. The will of our God is for hip-hoppers to be joyous, at peace, and prosperous. Our God's will is occurring long before we come to realize it. And those things which happen against our will are usually for our own good. For God sustains life itself. You do not choose God. God chooses you. And this is real. This paragraph is real because that's how hip-hop started. We was already in 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx before the word hip-hop existed. I was there before I realized I was an MC. This intelligence was already setting things up. And you got to think, Kool Herc comes to the Bronx in 67. Then he becomes Kool Herc in 73. Little KRS is there, 8 years old. None of us know anything, but there's an intelligence that did know. And put all of these things together. Rough Riders, Y&D, and Siobhan, they was in 1520 as well. Rough Riders, DMX, and Eve and all of that. The people who made Rough Riders, they was there in 1522 in 1973 in August. I think that I think I might have heard Kool Herc tell me that Y&D's father lent him some of the equipment to start hip hop. I gotta get my facts together, but I heard something like this. They were that intricate. And so this intelligence is working on us right now. It's working on us right now. And what's so funny is that we're recording this. So we could go back, okay? When we say, when I speak to you right now, we don't have our land. We don't have a building, a temple of hip hop building. We're doing our calls through Zoom and I'm doing them from hotels because I'm traveling and I don't have a temple of hip hop, an actual building, an edifice. I don't have an actual space as we speak to you right now. But as I speak this word, my faith is we already have the land and we already have the building. Mark my words. And so realize the faith. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. It's going to come somewhere, somehow, some way. It's going to come. So we speak on it now. We say, God, this is your will, not our will. So whenever you decide to do it, do it. We waiting. Perform patience. We went through that. So we waiting. This is the winning attitude, y'all. This is the winning attitude right here. Here's 10. Because life is sustained by God. Every act of it, and again, let me say this. You're going to highlight 10. Highlight number 10, because this is also the end of karma. This is it right here. This is the end of karma. Because life is sustained by God, every act of the hip hopper should be performed as a tribute and sacrifice to God. No work or person is too difficult to deal with when all is done as a tribute and service to your God. With this, the attuned hip hopper escapes the cycles of cause and effect. That's karma. Escapes the cycles of cause and effect because the attuned hip hopper causes nothing and is detached from everything. Only God is moving, acting, and speaking. That's it. Perform difficult activities knowing this. Knowing that, because again, If you're doing it for yourself, then you could become upset. You could become angry. People gonna rip you off. You could become hurt by it, depressed. You can give up the mission because it's happening to you. But when you say there is no me, there is no I is an illusion. Bruce Lee taught us that at an earlier lesson. There is no I. That's an illusion. Now I can knock you out right now, and there's no karma on me because there's no I. In fact, God is knocking you out right now because there's no I. I'm not doing nothing. I am the vehicle for what's being done. Perform difficult activities knowing this. Because when you perform on behalf of God, when you're serving God, then somebody dissing you in your face, it don't bother you because it's not about you, it's about God. I'm doing this on behalf of God. So if you dissing me on behalf of God's work, take it up with God. I'm doing God's work. Take it up with God if you got a problem. I'm not doing my work. I'm doing God's work. There is no mine. Matter of fact, I don't have no work. It's only God's work. And this is the end of karma. This is the end of cause and effect. What go around, come around. What you wish on others come back to you. We above that now. There's no me, there's no I, there's no mine, there's no karma. Now what I do because God, or should I say this? What is done because of God. That's the better side to it. What is done is God. That's it. When I eat, God's eaten. When I sleep, God has slept. When I wake up, God has awoken. When I'm at the Barclays Center. Okay, so let me come back. So 11 it ends off with perform difficult activities knowing this. E.L. Magoon once said, another philosopher once said, quote, existence was given us for action. Rather than indolent and aimless contemplation, our worth is determined by the good deeds we do. Our worth is determined by your good deeds, rather than by the fine emotions we feel. They greatly mistake who suppose that God cares for no other pursuit than devotion. And then what he's saying here is that the people are greatly mistaken if all you think God wants is your devotion. Or you think God only wants you to love God, love me, be devoted to me. That's not even a God. That's nothing. That's candy and Santa Claus. Okay? A real supreme intelligence that has given you life wants you to act. Simple and plain. Existence was given us for action. Sit and meditate, and it's cool. You know, I'm down with meditation, no doubt. But when you gonna get up and act, get up and do something on behalf of the divine. When is God going to move you to act? So this is the winning character. Skill, intelligence, communication, responsibility, and action. This is the winning character. This is how you win in life. This is how you harness the winds of life, the forces of life. You harness them. So this is what this lesson is today, and I want to thank you guys for checking me out again. Checking out myself, Son One, G. Simone is here with me as well, and thank you for listening. I'm looking over my notes real quick, make sure I went over everything. Let me just say this one more time as I leave. I'm just looking over my notes here about as a member of the Temple of Hip Hop. Let me just say this to you one more time. You are called to preserve and further develop hip hop, and you must ask yourself, how are you doing this in your individual life? You know, you could Like, go out and, like, if people are teaching hip hop courses, help them. Go to your local college. They probably got a hip hop course there. Tell them you from the Temple of Hip Hop. I come on the authority of KRS-ONE, the teacher. Let me show you what hip hop is and help them. Improve the hip hop courses around you. Okay, where is your wall or shrine or altar to hip hop? As a temple member, as a member of the Temple of Hip Hop, there should be at least one space in your house that hip hop is celebrated, where all can see it. Celebrated. And of course, that goes into the other part that says, don't just be hip hop when KRS comes around, or when any hip hop icon comes around, or something, you know, or when music is playing. Now I'm hip hop because I'm bobbing my head because I'm hip hop. No, that's not how we doing that. You got to be hip hop all the time to be down with this. You down with the Temple of Hip Hop? You hip hop all the time. Make your boss know it. Make your superiors know. I'm hip hop. Make them know. And why? Why should they know? They should know because, again, if you are ashamed of your culture, you ain't gonna win in it. When you are proud of your culture, you win at it and in it. If you are ashamed of your own culture, there's no way you're gonna win in it. And on top of that, if you win, that means you use the culture to get what you needed. These are loser characters, losing characters. Okay. And last but not least, no, it's not last. The second to last is help add to the 2023 hip hop exhibit. That's what we're doing. The Temple of Hip Hop is putting together an exhibit in that sense for 2023. It'll probably be a traveling exhibit, but we may have a building by then. Actually, I'm sure we will. The faith is there. We will have a building by then. Maybe you can come to the exhibit and deal with it like that. But that's what that is. We need artists, sculptors, carpenters, any memorabilia, knowledge, old stuff that, you know, maybe flyers, or important flyers. I'm not really with the flyer and the photo thing. But if you have something important that was memorable, that has a story attached to it, well, you want to send that forward and gather it now, because we don't have a place to gather this stuff yet. You should gather it for yourself and make your own little exhibit in your house. And then when we call for this stuff, you decide whether you want to donate it to the Temple of Hip Hop to make our exhibit even more great in that way. Last but not least is the $100 membership. Like I said before, it's only a matter of protocol that we ask for this, because some people can't come to the Temple of Hip Hop. Some people can't offer their ideas or this kind of thing, or don't want to, or just don't have them, you know, whatever it is. You can donate $100 a month. It helps us. It helps us. In that sense, we buy interviews with this, so we do all types of our DVDs with that, and so on. And also keep in mind that, like I said, you know, I don't want to keep saying it, but you know, emphasis on it for our own stuff and the stuff that we want to do. But if we are a temple for hip hop, it's not about whatever money I could come up with, or what Simone come up with, or what Sun One come up with, or what Minister Zenaru come up with. It's not about that. It's about what you can come up with. Okay, if you're participating in something, participate. Participate then. Take this seriously. And if you're not taking it seriously, that's cool too. But just know that you're not taking it seriously. You know, don't front like you actually taking it seriously. Nah, if you're going to take it seriously, every tribe on earth understands that if you're not putting your physical body down, put some money down. Put some money down so we know you serious. And we can mark your name down and put you in our membership so that your children can come later and say, my parents built this. My father, my mother was part of this at the very beginning. I take my seat here and sit, and they will. And we will serve them, because we will never forget what their parents did when we didn't have nothing. When we was out in the street and the temple was homeless and there was no exhibit, okay? You were the one that contributed, and we write that down. We write that down. That's part of hip hop's history. Nobody else writing the history. They all writing their own stuff. You know, it's just, writing themselves into a hip hop history. Nah, the real history is getting written right here with the Temple of Hip Hop. And you need to be in that history. And it's, again, not about just money. Put your body down. Put your reputation down. When we go to buy the land, put your credit down. You serious? Put your credit down. Some of you have inheritances. Okay, I'm not asking for your inheritance. But if you got some land, if you got a truck, if you got some item that you can donate to the temple for us to do what we got to do, don't sit there and listen to me and say, oh, KRS gives a good lecture. No, that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. What this is about is us creating a hip-hop institution that can be trusted, that is effective, and will last forever. That's what we're doing here. So it's called the Temple of Hip Hop. I will see you guys next week. Same time, those on the East Coast with us here, same time, 12 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Let me finish this out. 7 o'clock on Sundays. You guys can meet us. 12 o'clock on Sundays. What I'm rushing through is 7 o'clock on Wednesdays is the Lincoln University calls. I'm getting too much of this stuff. I'm teaching in too many places, and I need to write this down because there's Lincoln University at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, and I think I'm going to release a link for you to go ahead and, if you want to listen in on the Lincoln University lecture, go for it. But some of you have already heard what I'm giving to Lincoln. I'm taking them way back, like about 2 years ago lecture. You know, when I used to have the PowerPoints up. And we go through hip means to know, hop is movement. That's why I'm at with Lincoln University right now. These are fresh kids learning for the first time. If you want to be part of that, so that's Lincoln University. Wednesdays at 7. Temple of Hip Hop, 12 o'clock on the Sunday on the East Coast time. We get down just like you just saw right here. I'll also be teaching at Sound Connection. Those who go to the Sound Connection school, you can look them up online as well. We're going to help them with their course as well. And this is the point. As the teacher, I'm going around, I'm helping institutions that want the help, that are inviting the help with their curriculum, with how hip hop should be taught, and so on. And remind you that everywhere that I go and teach, the Temple of Hip Hop, its membership can also go behind me and teach, and are also received with respect and with authority there as well. Your teacher goes before you and sets that authority and that respect up. And then now when you come behind, you say, okay, I'm with the Temple of Hip Hop, and everybody goes, right, we understand what that is. The teacher set the law down. We know what it is. And you have to come behind that and say, you know, I'm going to exemplify that. We're not going to, you know, oh, wow, the Temple of Hip Hop, you acting like that? You sound like that, and you Temple? That's what people are going to do. They're going to judge you based on your own book and your own stuff and your own teacher. They're going to judge you on that. You should not be found wanting, and you should not be shortchanged or short. There should be nothing. You should be perfect in your representation of the Temple of Hip Hop and hip hop. And that's what these lessons are all about. So again, thank you for listening. Son One, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm, of course, going to run to the restroom. I'm still here, but I'm going to turn it over to you right now as we go out. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. I am KRS-ONE, and I love you all. Peace.
Peace to the God. And also, if you do stay on after we end the broadcast, I could show you the thing we were talking about earlier on the phone, the verses thing.
Oh, right. Yes. No. I'll hang up, and we'll just do it after.
Okay. No doubt.
I'll do it again.
Okay, work.
We're having a private conversation in an open forum. Forget all of this. No, that's it. I'm out of here. You're full screen. Goodbye.
Yes, peace. Peace and much love, everyone. There's a couple of things I wanted to go over real quick, magnificent reading by our teacher this week. A lot of in-depth explanation, which was very much needed. And there are a couple things I just wanted to speak upon to keep our organization of this call correct. One thing is about the chat. And I just want to let everybody know that your comments are welcome. But when you're constantly chatting, I'm sure for some who keep it open so that they can see, it can become distracting while the teacher is teaching. And I'm sure that that's not your intention. So I ask that you please be aware of that, because I'm trying my best to keep the chat open. The chat is not the place really to be introducing yourself, this, that, and the third like that. We do have a community chat line which everybody is linked up to, which if you have been in every call, you're already hooked up with that and in tune with that. Also, to know what this particularly is, this is probably going to be about a year and a half class, maybe even 2 years. This specifically is our classes for those who wish to become certified teachers, lowercase, of hip hop, certified by the Temple of Hip Hop. Others that are just watching, it's still a good thing. We hope you get inspired. Really, we hope you catch the inspiration of what we're trying to teach, and essentially there it is. But there are those of us who have sent in their attendance every week that are taking this class. So understand, yes, this is public right now, but it's meant for those who want to do that. I just wanted to point that out up top. Also, there's a magnificent lesson that I'm learning from the teacher in real time that is not necessarily, well, actually, parts of it are included within the gospel. But this seems to be or something fairly new. But that, or what I'm seeing, that as the more teacher becomes repopular, or not even repopular, because that's stupid. Just more of getting the real recognition that he deserves in public forums. As you know, we are radio banned, television banned, pretty much banned because of the content of which we speak about, and the responsibility that we call the hip hop nation to actually be. Like he said, like teacher said, a lot of things, even in the gospel, are given in ways of which people can take it, not even necessarily of which they can understand, but something that doesn't necessarily offend them, and given or performed in a communication way, in a communicated way that people can take because of other coats that they've been taught to wear. I would call that indoctrination. My wear is looking all types of crazy. But so this being the case, what you all are going to see in the very near future as we're able to reveal more of in detail what was really transpiring here is that a lot of or the blessings that I see that are coming to the teacher, the Temple of Hip Hop, myself, and you are from teacher's character, and really the character of the divine performance, especially in perform forgiveness. Uh, teacher, or you all should know, is very forgiving. Point of me, I don't even think really even realize, and so you're gonna see the manifestations of this divine character that teacher keeps talking about, the winning character, um, which is bringing forth fruits that are really because he acts on behalf of God, or rather, God is acting through the behalf of teacher's body and spirit. Uh, this we can't just breeze over. We can't skip over. This is my minister moment right here. Is that no? This is what I recognize and I know to be truth. This is the reality I am truly having as I view what's taking place. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people coming out of the woodwork. And it's so funny, as I said that, or God said to me, yes, out of the woodwork. Otherwise, woodwork, now that the promises are being fulfilled, now that the prophecies are coming true, woodwork, now that the success can be seen materialized or in the physical, woodwork. And that's actually cool because, as teacher said, technically nobody's really doing anything anyway. It's God that's really doing it all. And so if the times of which you were present and then no longer present, it was God manipulating and essentially making God up and making sure that everything happens in its divine time, and in its right season. So there is no or there's no hatred or uh, I'm searching for a word. It's escaping me right now. Um, Kind of like when you there's no seeking of a revenge of past things that have happened. There's a word for, I know I'm gonna think about it once we get off here, but there's no vengeance in a sense for anything has really happened because we're in this moment right now. We are in the presence of God, uh, which is what was talked about today. When you really realize that God is present, it's like to really take a second right now and know that God is present with you, present with everybody who's on this call, present with the teacher, present with myself, present with itself. That this is what it is, and feel no way about it. Right now, release it. Let everything go and let God. Let everything else go and let God. Pick up or so to speak, I'm gonna say pick up your gospel now. Now is the time. I said this last week. Great words of the prophet, hip hop's king, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now is the time of the dream becoming reality. And for that fact, if wherever you may have left off, pick up now where you left off, and humbly and respectably. Again, this is not our, this place is not the place to grandize or yourself. This is where, no, all credit, glory, and all of the above is given to God. God is doing this. And we are blessed to be a part of it. And we know that. Let me just check and make sure this isn't. Yes, indeed. Acronologist, Minister Simone just texted me that there is no regret, and there shouldn't be, because you're here, you're in health, love, awareness, and wealth right now. And so really feel that and know that, and let's move forward. Great words of Kwame Ture: forward ever, backwards never. This is the lineage of which we come from and we move through. This is the temple of hip hop. I would invite you to look into the first highlight of today, and we're asked the questions. You may also want to insert, take out the I, as teacher said, take out the I, take out the me, and put God there. What is God actually capable of doing? You're about to see it. I promise you, you are about to see it and know. You're gonna know that is oh so very real. Everything since last December that we've been putting forth, it is so real. To even see the mastermind of it, the minding of it, that we had the temple, we had the exhibit up. COVID prevented most people from coming to see it. Those who were able to come see it and those who saw it online, that was a blessing. And really, that's the masterminding that's working through your mind to bring certain things to fruition right now. As teacher mentioned, the lecture which we pulled up the properties and this, that, and the third, you really should go back and listen to that. Because I believe in, I'm definitely going to. There were very important things that were being said throughout those lessons that very much are manifesting right now. What God actually capable of doing? What can God really accomplish? What has God mastered? And what are God's skills? And I would say, or what are God's skills? God's skills is life, love, miracles, ways out of no ways, the unbelievable, the impossible. These are the skills of God, which you think can't happen. God will very much show you, if you deserve to be shown, exactly that God is very capable of everything. And even that, I feel as though that's an understatement, because really there's not a word in the English language that can really convey what God can do, or does in all time and space. Um, so know that. I think I'll end because or my spirit's getting or I can feel the vibration heavy right now. So I think everybody gets the point that it is a new day, right? Okay, I have or just this one note. When TEACHA was speaking, what is done is because of God. And that led me to God is every cause. And remember what because is because of God, being caused by God. Everything, good to bad, ugly to beautiful, God is it. And when you accept that, you'll get closer. And right, actually, let me just say that as TEACHA pointed out when he was talking about the karma's over for us, or get it out of your perception as though it's something that you're going to draw to yourself, because the more you keep it in, you're actually going to draw that reality to you. Know and understand, as TEACHA said, or we love all spirituality. It's what drew us close to spirituality. We came to this earth with existing spiritualities being taught in all different shapes, forms, and fashions. But you must be clear that much of that contradicts our gospel and what hip hop has come or to bring clarity to our group. What works for us, that stuff may have worked for them, but again, it's contradicting to our gospel and what we know to be true. And what we know to be true is manifesting in real time. See, it's like it's what is happening is as big as the waters being parted in Egypt, if not bigger. Hip hop's existence coming into existence and its story, for the fact that we know 100,000% that it's real, is more meaningful for us. 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, TEACHA in 1600 Sedgwick Avenue. At the exact time, there is proof. There is proof. We have proof. The building still exists. You can go to them today. You can go stand right there. You can go to the room, to the recreation room. You can go stand right. You can go in it if they're there. It exists now. There's no guessing with this. The realness of it, even with the verses, right? TEACHA mentioned Rough Riders, Siobhan D. And now, or the verses with Swiss Beats. You have to see the movement, or the point is you can see the movement. You don't have to guess with the gospel of hip hop. I again, it's respect to all religions. We love them. We love the stories, especially the good of it. The good of it. We love it. But we've been to focus on something else instead of dealing with the real, in time, present God that you have in your midst right now while you're alive, that many people have never experienced, or they experienced and didn't know either. And so it's not written down. We don't really know about it like that, or the proof is very much lacking. Good knowledge is around, but that's another discussion. The point is, grab this bad boy. Grab it, hold it, study it, say its affirmations, say its prayers, and know that it's God that is brought you, that has created you, that is keeping you alive, that is moving you through this beautiful experience, that has drawn you to this. And when you really do that and you release your doubt and really start acting like, no, you don't let, or you see, this is just one of mine. This is just one of mine. When you can really represent hip hop unapologetically. Why? Because it is from the sovereign of the universe. That's not to be played with whatsoever. And I'm telling you, if you do play with it, you just won't be a part of it. That's all. And you don't want to get to that part in the gospel where you're looking back saying, I wish I did. I wish I could have. I wish I read it. I wish I started developing myself. I wish I had the full experience, the full understanding of hip hop and the gospel of hip hop and what it really was. Because now it's over credible. It's over credible. It's everywhere I go. It is the environment of which we live. And there are so many others and people who are young who are accepting it without a doubt, and they get to live a whole life with it. And I denied it. Oh no, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. It's like an old person wishing they traveled the world and could have and just didn't. Before they die, they say that's the number one thing, that when people die, they say they wish they had traveled more or traveled the world and saw things. Well, for us, we want to see this, and we are seeing it. I'm gonna let that go now. Peace and much love to you all, and hip hop's people are on top, without a doubt. And it is really just going to continue. These are absolutely beautiful days. The last days of others are the first days for us. We don't lead God. We follow God. Peace and much love. I am Minister Sun One, and this is the Temple of Hip Hop.
Yeah! My lyrics is crazy. They must be crazy. My lyrics is crazy. Chris is the pharaoh with bow and the arrow. We double the barrel. Gorilla apparel, the mightiest barrel. Don't think of a battle. My lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting them at you, the actual factual front to the back of you, clapping and cracking. You packing them back for you. Look at them live. This is so crazy. Spit meaning you see what I'm teaching your mind. I am teaching with all that I'm teaching. That love and that peace and never will weaken. The truth I am speaking is crazy. Truth I am speaking, get used to repeating. The youth I am reaching with proof this teaching. I speak for a reason, so they can believe in the truth of MCing is crazy. Cracking the back of these rappers, I'm passing these actors, I'm faster. Spitting metal, that's a ripping cuts forever. We becoming better, spreading love forever. Crazy. You hearing a pro, I'm spitting a flow that you know. Higher level thinking I come to show. Knowledge of self is a thing you must know. You see what they playing, they steady betraying the culture we making, exploiting. To them what we hating. Now you mistaken what's real and what's faking. This ain't what do for the money they making. They sell out their people, their culture, their nation. Sell out their soul for a radio station so they can be playing in heavy rotation. You see what I'm saying? Our culture they taking, but that's not enough. It's our spirit they breaking, and only the culture can see what I'm saying, cause only the culture will see them betraying. You see what they playing, you see what they saying, and you cannot see us. Our people ain't slaying. Well, maybe you do it, then maybe you don't, and then maybe you will, and then maybe you won't. But it's our community that's losing hope with the greed and the crime, and the police are joking. The TV is playing that okey doke while our people are dying. You seeing them joke with that cheating and lying. You seeking the vote when they telling our people now this is they hope, but did anything change with the last vote? No. The time before that did we pass up? No. All we've been getting is chapter 11 while racists with weapons are shooting our reverence. A message from heaven with all that you get and get understanding, overstanding this lesson with all of the bling and the cash that you getting. You choking for sure. It's the poor you neglecting, the thieves and the liars. They all in your section. I'm bringing my people a different direction. Crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy. They must be crazy. Yo, so here goes another, my sisters and brothers. It's obvious KRS ain't like these others. I've been out the bed while they under the covers. I spit off the head while they babble and stutter. Not 3 and not 2, but the 1 is my number. I'm spitting my written. I tour every summer. With every year I get younger and younger, but someone to doubt and continue to wonder. It's crazy. They continue to blunder. It's crazy. They continue to slumber. What I am teaching is what I'm expressing. I'm teaching the streets that the mind is a weapon. Like anything you can perceive in perception is what you will manifest all in your section. It's crazy. Set up your own direction. Crazy. Don't get caught up in complexion. Crazy. This is that reason I'm spitting and books getting written, cause you be forgetting it's crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy.